Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Antoine Fantoine here. Antoine Fantoine here. Antoine Fantoine here. Internet's man. Internet guy. Mellow Mike says, yo. Mellow Mike says, yo, what up? Hold on one second. Let me tweet out this loink. This loink over here. Hey everybody, it's your boy. You know who it is. It's hold on a second. Going live. Bam, 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 bam. You know who it is. It's your boy over here. It's the Melon Man back for our little bi-monthly live stream. Bi-monthly live streams. Bi-monthly Q&A live streams might be the last one of the year. So get your questions in now, because as far as I see it, we have this week. Next week is list week. After that is holiday week, Christmas and all that stuff. And if I'm feeling up to it and I feel like working and not just relaxing, as I most likely will be doing that week, and just sort of enjoying my holiday, I may stream, I may not. So this might be the last one of the year. Don't know at this point. So yes, this is our usual Q&A live stream, answering questions, taking super chats, all that good stuff. And I did see Kanye's Twitter. I will be doing a video about that tomorrow on the Fantano channel. Do not worry about that. That is going to be something I'm going to be commenting on tomorrow for sure, no doubt. Okay, that's going to be commented on. There will be a comment on that. There will be commentary on that. Once more, I do want to thank all of you guys for taking part in the other week's Q&A live stream. Oh, Kanye's still ranting. Again, it's just something I'm going to have to get into tomorrow. I'll just get into it on a Fantano video tomorrow. I know I retweeted a few tweets from his rant that he started like a few minutes ago. But I want to thank you guys for taking part in the live stream a few weeks ago, the charity one that we did. We raised like $3,000 for the Richard Swift Memorial Fund and his family. So again, I want to appreciate everybody. Send out a shout to everybody who took part in that and gave generously to that. Go back to the Sylvia demo. Why? It's not even that good. It's really not even that good. Somebody had a question earlier. There was a super chat question here that I ended up missing. Somebody was asking me if I am planning on seeing any movies this Christmas, like Christmas week. I'm going to go out and see a film or whatever. And as of right now, no plans to see a film at the moment. No plans to see a film. Blueface review. Who's the Blueface? I don't know who the Blueface is. I don't know who the Blueface guy is. You'll have to hit me to that. I'm unfamiliar with the Blueface. Sorry to sound like a total boomer here, but I don't really know anything about this Blueface guy. Sort of seen him pop up on World Star and frickin' Genius the other day, and I don't know, just sort of looked like not really anything that was like going to blow me away or anything like that. So I just kind of like, just sort of filtered away into my brain. Thoughts on Stefflon Don's album? I thought it was kind of generic, frankly. I didn't really think there was anything special. As much as I did enjoy her Double XL Cypher and Freestyle, I just thought it was kind of generic. Let's see, DJ October. What's up? Excuse me. What's up, dude? Hey, Melon, was wondering what you thought about about your favorite what your favorite dark ambient album is. How creative can that genre get? Also, I'm dropping my album at the end of the year. Finally done with school. Hacks and Cloak definitely came out with one of my favorite darker ambient records. Also, Lustmord has a lot of great dark ambient and drone records that I think are pretty fantastic. Those are definitely recommendations I'd make off the top of my head. Hey, Anthony, love the vids. What are your thoughts on Sweetheart, Sweet Like by Spiritualized? I have a copy of it. I think it's an amazing record, great rock record, really inspiring and orgasmic, I guess, at points. And I guess I don't know. It's a rock record that creatively uses excessive, I'll say, like arranged and just sort of extra instrumentation to sound gorgeous without taking away the grit of, a good rock album. Check out Jody Kofu. I will pop that into my phone, and I will get a chance to check that out. Putting these in my phone like last time did make it actually a lot easier to check out all the suggestions that you guys made during the last live stream, some of which were pretty decent. I threw them up on my Twitter account, but if anybody's looking to catch up with me on any of those, ask away later. Hey, Anthony, Kanye is going off on Drake right now, this very second, talking about Drake threatening to kill him. Check Twitter Live. I'm hearing about that. I will be doing a video on that on the Fantano channel ASAP as soon as I, start making content bright and early tomorrow morning. So I'm not going to react to it right now because most likely whatever Kanye is saying, he's probably not even done. But considering everything that Kanye has kind of in a tacit way taken part in through Pusha T, in kind of embarrassing Drake and really kind of fucking up his shit. I mean, I'm not surprised Drake is pissed, I'm not surprised he's pissed. And while I consider Drake to be a pretty soft guy, Drake has a lot of money, and there are a lot of people surrounding him who are not soft guys. And maybe Kanye didn't know what he was getting into. Because I know Drake knows and is associated with some pretty, like, seedy people. Excuse me. Hey, Anthony, have I heard of Loot? He's a rapper from Dreamville and has a very nostalgic sound I think you'd enjoy. I'm not familiar with Loot. Dreamville can be kind of hit or miss for me, though I will pop that in my phone and I'll check it out later. Not really crazy about Boss, not really crazy about some of the other people that turn up on the Dreamville comp that dropped a while back, but, Jid is definitely a step in the right direction. I don't know. I'll check him out. Mini Mansions is a great underrated band. I've heard them, but I'm not really seeing the Mini Mansions hype, frankly. Not really like seeing what's like so amazing about Mini Mansions, but I guess that's just me. Lunas just dropped a new track called Part Out. Did I give it a listen? I have not given it a listen. And also the weekly track roundup is pretty much over for the year, I think. We'll reconvene those back in January. But no, I have not checked out his new track. Lunas, Twitter. I'll look it up later. But no, I haven't checked out his new track. It would be great to hear a new record from him in 2019, though. Also, hope you dive into more EDM reviews. Really interested. Potentially. You should do a segment where you look at a really strange negative review on Rate Your Music. There are some real crazy people on that site. Honestly, I've thought about doing it. I don't know. I'll write it down. I'll think about it. It could be fun. I just worry about like using my platform to in a way seemingly attacking someone who I don't mean to attack, or like putting too much attention on somebody who might not want the attention. You know what I mean? Like some random guy who writes like a crazy negative review. I don't know if his social media and like information is attached to his Rate Your Music account. I don't want to like send 100,000 people like hating on some random guy. You know what I mean? So, you know, which could like, could potentially be the output of that sort of thing. I mean, it's one thing if you're an internet personality and, you know, you're putting yourself out there, but if you're some random person writing a review on Rate Your Music, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, hey, another reason to give you money, Anthony. You mentioned doing something about reviewing viewer music. Still thinking about it? Yes, I am. It is a segment that I do want to start up in 2019. Keep a lookout for it. Hey, Anthony, on the topic of dark ambience, have I heard of Heilings on Ofnir? It's on the same label as Idol. No, I have not. I've not heard that. I've not heard that. I'll pop it in my phone. I've not heard that. But Perrin, thank you. Goo, the Siege Nerd, says, Anthony, I've always wondered what do I think about Soda Stereo and the impact and dominance they had as South American rock music culture. I'm really not even familiar with their existence, as you're just like kind of saying here. I'm a Soda Stereo noob, putting it on my phone. But Goo, thank you very much for taking part and supporting. Thoughts on the new Shoo Shoo single and video? It's pretty weird, but fun and bold, too. I'm kind of happy that Shoo Shoo is kind of getting a little freaky again, and looking forward to seeing them kind of go back in that direction. Hi, Anthony. What should a rather inexperienced new artist do when getting into production? I was going to email you, but I don't know if I should. You could email me if you want. That's why my email exists. But getting into production, I mean, I guess it depends on what you want to do. Do you just want to be a home producer? Do you want to produce your own stuff? Do you want to be like a producer in a studio? I mean, if that's the sort of thing that you want to do, and really just to like kind of get production tips and information in general, I mean, either go online and do tons of research, you know, go on boards like Gear Sluts and stuff like that, sluts with a Z, because apparently that's how they spell that shit. I have looked at Kanye's Twitter. I have looked at it. I'm going to be commenting on it tomorrow. You know, go on sites like that, research equipment, research frequencies at which you should EQ certain instruments and so on and so forth, or you could get an internship at a studio and follow an actual producer around and, you know, set up microphones and that sort of thing. You know, look, production is really something that you just kind of learn by doing it. You know, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fuck up for a long time. You're not really going to know what the fuck you're doing. But that's the pain of starting out with anything, pretty much. If you're feeling sinister for Classics Week, at least give us your thoughts. I do think it's a great record. Like, it's an amazing little pop album. And probably my favorite Bell and Sebastian record, period. You know, not to say that their other albums aren't good, but, you know, Fox in the Snow, fucking love that song. But yeah, I mean, it's a good record. Not sure about this next Classics Week, though, but it's a great one. Okay, well, here's $5 more anyways. I'll keep harassing you with my shit. Keep it up, man. Introduce me to Brockhampton, and I love them. Thank you very much. Admin. Hey, Anthony, I'm excited for Classics Week. I'd love to see you review or speak about Madlib blunted in the Bombshell or Q-Tip and Busta Rhymes, The Abstract and the Dragon. But that's not even a classic. I mean, that's just like an okay mixtape. But Classics Week is coming up. And not to say the Madlib record isn't good, it is. But I wouldn't say it's like one of his best. Do I think the Grammys will give Kendrick Album of the Year for Black Panther as a way to make up for him getting screwed over 3 times, although it should go to Dirty Computer? I don't know about that, honestly. If they end up giving it to the Black Panther soundtrack, I think they're just going to end up doing it because it's, you know, a big mainstream record that's really popular, and it has like, you know, I think All the Stars could definitely get a Grammy. I don't know about the soundtrack itself. I think it should go to Dirty Computer. Hopefully Janelle Monáe has enough connections in the arts community. And I know there are a lot of, she's kind of like an artist's artist, you know what I mean? Which is why I think that she may be in a position where she could end up getting a Grammy, you know? In the artist community, people really do kind of like admire her and think she's really great, unless, you know, there's like some kind of drama or bad blood there that I'm not really aware of. But I think Dirty Computer Grammy is possible. I don't know if you're privy to them, but what do I think about Corrupted, the Japanese Spanish something German doom band? What? I have not heard of this Japanese Spanish sometimes German new doom band. I didn't even know such a thing could even exist, but I'll put it in my phone. I'll check it out. Anthony, please check out Bambara Shadow on everything. It's Alex Marshall's favorite album this year. They opened for Idols. Okay. It's a good endorsement, I guess. Melodic here. Hey, what's going on, Melodic? Wanted to thank you for giving me a platform this year from the KSG album. What do I think about the future of comedy music? I mean, I think comedy music is not going to go anywhere, especially if comedy music finds a way to tie in with memes, which I think guys like Mark Rebier have definitely kind of started embarking on. Hot Dad as well. So I don't know. I think those are definitely prime examples of people using comedy and memes sort of together. And even if you're not necessarily doing that, even if you're a group like Ninja Sex Party or whatever, for example, Ninja Sex Party is pretty popular, and they're definitely a comedy music band. They don't seem to be going anywhere. So I don't think comedy music is necessarily leaving the planet or anything anytime soon, but I don't think it's ever going to be taken as seriously as music that's sad or mad or whatever. Saw this viral video of a young girl playing some beautiful music, prog math band called Chan. Have I heard of them? I have heard of them. Their sound is a little sanitary for me, frankly. I do very much prefer like the new the new Polyphia record, which does feature some members of Chan on the record. That's a little bit more my speed, I think. But, definitely they're a talented group. I do respect the play style. Hey, Anthony, was wondering what your thoughts are on the Far Side, and would I ever consider doing one of their albums for Classics Week? I would consider it. Pretty forward-thinking sound as far as like old school hip-hop goes. Not a lot of groups of their era sounded like that, which is exactly kind of a reason that you might want to cover them. The, high voice, the weird flows, the kind of psychedelic mind-bending production. It was all pretty weird for the time. Groups like them and Diggable Planets were definitely far left of center. And Outkast too, when it comes to a lot of the 90s hip-hop scene. Who's my favorite Smash character of all time? And then favorite newcomer. For example, mine are Captain Falcon and King K. Rool. If you say anything else, you're wrong. Well, Captain Falcon is pretty dope. I think King K. Rool and Incineroar are mostly empty hype. Both characters, I found their moves to be just like a little one-dimensional. However, they're both heavy hitters, so I don't really think they're supposed to be all that flashy or technical or anything like that. Not to say that I think that they're totally awful, but I think they're better newcomer characters. I think, Inkling, I think Simon and Richter are, far more versatile characters with a lot more range and really quirky and interesting play styles and like lots of crazy tricks and mechanics that I don't think a lot of people have kind of gotten the grasp of yet. For the most part, I find King K. Rool to be kind of, kind of basic. Not terrible, but, a little basic. Certainly more flavor in his play style than like a Ganondorf, who even he's gotten a major buff in this new Smash. So you can't even really count out Ganondorf like you used to. Best Cockatoo Twins album. I mean, honestly, I'm not even so deep into the Cockatoo Twins discography that I could answer anything other than like the most popular records. I haven't even like heard the whole discography. So I'm not like the Cockatoo Twins, expert here to sort of like comment on their stuff. I would refer you to rate your music and just sort of like, pick out whatever's the most popular there, frankly. Anthony, have I heard of Jack Stauber? If not, check out his YouTube channel. I have. I do think some of his YouTube stuff is pretty cool. I found his records, though, that people were recommending me to check out this year to just be kind of like, I don't know, okay. I mean, I do like the lo-fi thing. I do like the Ariel Pink kind of stuff, but it didn't really stand out to me as that memorable, I guess. Nothing against Jack, but it didn't really blow me away or nothing. Excuse me. Have I heard Yeah Whatever by Owain? album that came out earlier this year, jazzy instrumental. No, I have not heard of it. I'll put it in my phone and check it out at a later time when I get some time. Thank you for the recommendation, Nick. Back again, Rum Sodomy and the Lash, Classics Week worthy. It is a good one. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not Classics Week. Yeah, I know that's not how cockatoo twins are said. I'm not going to fucking say it right. I don't know how it's said correctly. So, cockatoo, I'll just say it's pronounced Menomina. Rum Sodomy and the Lash, I think it's Classics worthy. Is it going to be in this upcoming Classics Week? I don't know, because I kind of already picked all the Classics Week picks, I think, for the most part. So, I'm not exactly sure yet. The label format is becoming less necessary, but how can a smaller artist reach an audience if they are just putting stuff out on Bandcamp, especially in a more obscure genre like ambient? Ambient's a tough sell, honestly. Like, there are a lot of great and popular ambient artists on Bandcamp. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I would try to find a label that puts out that stuff on Bandcamp and just sort of find a label with a following, of which there are actually like quite a few labels on Bandcamp that put out ambient stuff. I would try to find a label with a following and just like, yeah, it might seem like, oh, the label format, it's tired and so on and so forth. But like a label, if they're an independent label and they're not like seeking to own all the rights to your music and they just kind of want to take a little money off the top of selling some tapes of your shit, like, I would reach out to some places, you know, and just see if they can kind of get the ball rolling and get you like a little bit of an audience or something, maybe a little bit of press, doing some PR for you. Favorite ever movie soundtrack and also favorite ever rap album. Off the top of my head, I have no answer to either. I really don't. I'm not even that big into movie soundtracks for the most part. I mean, the Blade Runner one is pretty sick. You know, all this stuff Ennio Morricone and Vangelis have done is pretty sick. But favorite ever rap album, I really don't have one off the top of my head. I've heard too many to just pick one. Hey Anthony, what do I think is the best Liars album, and would I recommend Vinyl Me Please? Vinyl Me Please is pretty fun if you do want to spend the money on it. I mean, they don't, you know, put out a lot of trash, and the pressings are exclusive and cool, and they let you swap them out if you don't want them. It is a nice service if you can afford it. Post-punk revival albums, I'm not sure. And Drums Not Dead, or not their last one, but the one before that, Mess, is actually pretty great in my opinion. I think those are my favorites. How do I feel about Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor's scores? I absolutely love them. I mean, I think they're fine. You know, I get the hype and everything, but you know, again, not really like a huge score guy, but the sounds are definitely cutting edge and adventurous, and certainly do set a really potent mood. You know, I see why they, you know, have gotten the praise and the continual work that they have and offers. Can I please do a Cannibal Ox Cold Vein for Classics Week? Might be interesting. And yes, I have already gotten some people asking me about the Silk Bunny. I am planning on checking it out this weekend at some point. If it ends up doing anything for me, I'll let you know. QT Brown, thank you. When I'm listening to an album for a review, do you usually use headphones or speakers? It'll be headphones, it'll be speakers. No thoughts on the rapper Blueface right now, though I have gotten quite a few requests, and I have seen him getting talked about online around. What the hell happened? Where's the friggin'... Oh, it sort of just like disappeared. There it is. No, I've gotten a lot of people asking me about, you know, what I think about him. As of right now, I don't really think anything about Blueface. I guess I'll let you guys know if anything like sort of just like pops up or comes to mind once I hear some more of his stuff. Moonwalker or Purple Rain? Purple Rain. Hey Anthony, heard a band called Judiciary, hardcore out of Texas. Their first full length coming in January. Have not heard of them, but popping it in my phone. We'll check it out and see what's up. Better album, Atrocity Exhibition or Good Kid, Mad City? Good question. I think I'm a little more Atrocity Exhibition because I'm a little more of an edgy guy. Also, when you do your favorite albums of the decade, will we see some 9s higher than 10s on your list? Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if we're going to see any 9s higher than 10s, honestly. But there may be some upsets, maybe some 8s better than 9s and that sort of thing. But I don't think we're going to see any 9s higher than 10s, honestly. You know, but I'll think about it. I guess we'll see. It's another year before I do it, so I still have some more time to think about it. Would I consider doing Labor Days or None Shall Pass by Aesop for Classics Week? If I did consider it, it probably would be Labor Days, though I'm not sure right now, as I've mostly kind of picked my classic picks already, but I guess we'll see. You can change the world. You can touch the sky. You are the chosen one. When we all cry, at the same time tonight, keep on shining, you crazy diamond. Well, Fort Nixon, thank you. Mwah, 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 mwah. Cockatoo twins. Thoughts on Mike Skinner announcing a new The Streets album? Well, that's pretty good. I mean, I didn't really like the last single I think he dropped under The Streets name, but hopefully, whatever he ends up coming out with down the road is much smoother. Original Pirate Material and Grand Don't Come for Free are still some of my all-time faves. I mean, they are still great albums, some of the best hip-hop albums of the 2000s, and some of the best hip-hop albums that come out of the UK ever. So, there's that to consider. What's good, Antoine? What's up with these Yay tweets? I'm going to be talking about them tomorrow. Fantano channel. Don't miss it. Fantano channel. Have I listened to the new Sick Thoughts self-titled album? It reminds me of Jay Retard a bit. Great album. No, I've not heard it, but I will pop that into my phone. Cockatoo Twins. Next. You ever check out Sixth? New album was Hot Garbo, but their first two albums were insanely ahead of their time, and I love that. I have not heard it. I'm not at all familiar with them. Swagger Prince, 69,000. It's quite a name. Good for you. How's it going, Anthony Antano? What do I think of Chipmunks at 16 speed? I've heard it, and Chipmunks at 16 speed, unironically, is actually one of the best sludge/doom albums of all time. I know that sounds kind of crazy to say, but it's actually true. Jake Gilland. I should remind myself to try this again, but yes, I have heard the new Token project. Yeah, I mean, he's okay. I think he's a little melodramatic. I think he's a little bit of a lyrical miracle at points on his new record. But, I do think it is a step up from his previous album. Yes, it is, no doubt. I'm just not sure if I'm going to be able to really kind of get in a review before list week starts, which is very soon. Have I listened to Honey Bloom by Choker? Yes, I have. I think the production... wanted to give you a... ow! Jake, and since you... Adrian. Ow! Wanted to give you one, too. Yes, I have heard the record. Production is pretty forward-thinking, but I thought that it sounded a little bit too much like Kevin Abstract and Frank Ocean to really kind of go crazy about it. But it seems like the dude is kind of on the right track as far as having a really creative sound palette. So... not one of my favorite albums of the year, but definitely going to be looking out for the guy. Anthony, give me a motivational speech to help me achieve my dreams. Do it. Whatever you want to do, as long as you're not killing yourself or hurting the people around you, and it makes you happy, and it makes you want to live, and it makes you want to get up in the morning, do it. Do it. Just respect other people's lives and wishes, okay? But get out there and make something for yourself, baby. Is it even worth paying attention to classical music anymore? Most of the money comes from playing older compositions, and new classical compositions seem to be less relevant than ever. I mean, I guess that's true, but that's no reason to completely ignore classical music. Now, I know that sounds hypocritical coming from me because I'm a total classic music fucking pleb. But I will admit my current job situation does kind of prevent me from having as much free time as I think I would like to have. To really kind of dive into classical music as much as I think I would need to in order to comment on it properly. But yeah, I don't really know if I have anything else to say about it beyond that. I mean, I think every genre of music is worth paying attention to if you feel like paying attention to it. Don't just ignore classical music just because the music is old or whatever. That would be like just ignoring bluegrass music because most of the old bluegrass music is much more popular than the new stuff. Kanye is a rich white kid from Chicago. What do you think gives him the right to use the N-word? I don't think Kanye is a rich white kid from Chicago. I think that might be factually inaccurate. Now that Persona 5 is coming to Smash, you no longer have an excuse to be ignorant to the greatest video game soundtrack ever recorded. I guess that's true, although playing Persona 5 or playing a character from Persona 5 in Smash won't necessarily make me hear the whole soundtrack. So, but you know, Captain Falcon, do hit me up on social media somewhere. Get me that Switch code. I'm beating those fucking Captain Falcon cheeks, I tell you. Loved your video on Hot Rats. If you did a second Classics week for Zappa, which would I pick? Probably Apostrophe. Has my opinion on Astroworld changed at all? No, not really, but I still think it's a pretty decent album. My opinion changed from a 6 to a strong 8. I'm still pretty much feeling a 7 on it, to be completely frank. But it is a good record. During the Richard Swift stream, you missed my donation. I apologize. You owe me 2 ows. Ow! Ow! And I'll give you one more, Mason. Ow! My question was, have I heard of Astrocyst on YouTube? Yes, I am subscribed to him, and I thought his recent video on Smash and Mario was pretty funny. So yeah, he's a sweet guy, at least from what I see on his content anyway. I don't know him personally. You brought up Fishman's on Let's Argue. Well, I mean, honestly, the person commenting brought up Fishman's, but probably too minor to get a classic review, so thoughts on their biggest stuff like Long Season. I mean, I think the production's really forward-thinking and trippy and really kind of like amazing for electronic music generally. Yeah, I mean, nothing else really kind of sounds like it. You know, I can give it that much credit. You know, it is a great creative sort of, I guess, approach to sound, and I do kind of like artists who do kind of like have a unique approach to mixing and timbre and so on and so forth. I find it stimulating. I feel out of love with country. I feel out of love with country years ago, wondering how much you listen to. I love new artists like Coulter, Tyler Childers. Thoughts on them? I haven't tried out their stuff, but yeah, I mean, I'm not really that into the new stuff either. You know, what little new country I do listen to is kind of the stuff I've just reviewed on the channel, which, I mean, you know, you could look up country reviews in the search section, but there aren't that many admittedly. But yeah, I mean, but still, I guess I'll say there is a little bit of a resurgence of more authentic country sounds coming out of the Bandcamp and internet scene, and I'm pretty excited to see that. Am I appearing in the Uncle Adam's Original 2 music video? Uncle Adams has my social media and my email account. Like, he has not hit me up to be in the music video yet. He's talked about doing it online, but he has not hit me up to do it yet. So the offer has technically not even really been made outside of him just kind of like saying it. Why don't I give Pavement the credit they deserve? I mean, I don't think I've prevented them from having the credit they deserve. I'm not one of these people out here who just like sucks Pavement's dick. You know, I think they have some good songs. I think they have some good records, but they're not like one of my favorite indie acts or anything. But Stephen Malkmus, you know, he wrote some good tracks in Pavement. I think they have a good kind of slacker West Coast sound. You know, I think they're just solid songwriters who just like kind of just have a solid indie rock sound. You know, I really don't know what the fuck to say about them other than that. You know, Crooked Rain is great. And, you know, I guess I just don't really like throw major Pavement praise out there because, I mean, one, again, as I said, I guess they're not one of my favorite indie bands. And number two, all the praise that Pavement ever really needs or ever needed has kind of already been said at this point. So I don't know what else is really gained from me coming on camera and just being like, Pavement, oh my God, Pavement. You know, I mean, Pavement has all the positive press that they could ever want, you know, coming out of a traditional music media. And, you know, they're a classic band at this point. I don't really think they need me to suck their dick any more than anybody else ever has. But you know, Pavement, whatever credit Pavement has, they deserve it. You know, I'm not denying Pavement any credit or any influence or any talent, you know, any talent or whatever. You know, they're a good band. Anthony, what do I prefer? Concise and watertight projects, Kids See Ghosts, or long-winded and a lot of substance, Swans to Be Kind? I do think the long-winded records with a lot of substance do leave a longer and a larger impact, even if they don't have as much replay power, honestly. They do seem like more significant life sort of experiences to me. What did I think of the past? What did I think of the new IDK project, the Friends EP? First off, Zach. Ow! The Friends EP, is that the one we're talking about? I thought it was okay. You know, I thought the features were a little hit or miss, and you know, the production was kind of weak. I've also been listening. Wait, what do I think the newest Mike project, Black Soap? Oh, I didn't know he had a new one out. Is that on Bandcamp too? I didn't know he had a new one. I got to try that out. I've also been listening to Navy Blues stuff on SoundCloud. I think it's worth giving a listen. Also, Low End Theory for Classics Week. That could be fun. Wait, Low End Theory? I didn't review that already. I didn't review the Low End Theory for Classics Week before. I don't have a Tribe Called Quest Classics review already. That'd be surprising to me. I think I might already have one. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I might be having a brain fart. I'm having a boomer moment. How much hours do I put into reviewing music? Pretty much about the same amount of time somebody would for just like a 40-hour-a-week job or more, since it's kind of like me running my own business. Also, everyone in the chat is asking about 1791L. Well, I mean, look, guys, I mean, the drama isn't free. You know what I mean? If you want me to talk about the drama, you got to pay for it. There's a price. Drama ain't free, guys. Do I think XXX will be at all relevant / remembered a year from now? I think he'll be remembered a year from now. If he's going to be forgotten, it's going to take way longer than a year. I think his impact is way too large to just be like, oh yeah, a year from now, nobody will care. Have I heard of the album The Smoke by Lolina, aka Inga Copeland? No, I have not, but I will put that in my phone, and I will see what's up. Boop, boop, ba-doo. Wait. Ugh, YouTube. Come on, YouTube. Please. There we go. Hey, Mr. List, what is your favorite Mars Volta album? I think it's Francis. Also, you should review a 2 album for Classics Week. Possibly, I could review Anomina. That's a pretty decent one. Anomina? That's a good one. What older albums do you enjoy or do you think have not aged well? Wait, do you think have not? You want me to say albums that I think have and have not aged well? I mean, that's like we're talking about dozens of albums here potentially. I think Massive Attack's Blue Lines hasn't aged quite well, while Mezzanine has aged very well. Yes, but I think the trip hop groups generally, out of all of them, I think Portishead has probably aged the best, if we're talking strictly trip hop. But as far as albums that have and haven't aged well, again, we're talking about hundreds of records here potentially. But you know, typically when something doesn't age well, it's usually because whatever production aesthetics that they were using at the time just kind of went out of fashion. You know, like for example, I think Radiohead's OK Computer has aged pretty well considering how unique and clean and full and lush the sound of that record is. Or even like a record like, you know, Loveless from My Bloody Valentine, because the sound of that record is so unique. It's kind of hard to put it at a specific time period, you know, like I'll say, you know, like for example, the sound of like Bush's 16 Stone, super old, like grungy rock album, has not aged very well because it just sounds like a generic ass grunge album at this point, whose sound is old hat and tired and so on and so forth. But yeah. Anthony, why don't I ever review Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap? I don't really think much of it. You know, it didn't really kind of grab me in any way, shape, or form. And I guess I didn't really have a strong opinion on it, strong enough to put into a concise why you know review type format. I figured he was right up your alley with positive message, mainstream appeal, solid features. Yeah, I mean, it just didn't click with me at all. You know, I just really don't have any excuse for it. I don't have anything against the guy. His music just really doesn't do much for me. The sound, his voice. I mean, you know, I give him credit. His lyrics are better than, you know, a bunch of random SoundCloud trash, but I just don't find it that intriguing. You know, typically I think his features are pretty good, but, you know, the album itself, the last one, didn't really do anything for me. Are Wolfpack funk posers? No, I mean, I think I think they kind of make elevator funk, you know? It's fine, but it's still like elevator funk. You know, I feel like your funk kind of, I guess, polite. How do I feel on artists who have their own brands, like Tyler with Golf and Earl with Death World? Are there any artists with brands that I follow? Not really, but I mean, artists these days, if they want to make money, they got to have a lot of irons in the fire because CD sales aren't what they used to be, and streaming doesn't pay out as much as all that shit, and, you know, a bunch of other bullshit. So I think if you're going to sell merch, which most artists do. You might as well turn it into a cool, hip clothing brand and, get real progressive with it and try to be like a fashionista or some shit like that. Probably makes the most sense. Look at how much money Kanye has made off of like Yeezy. Have I listened to Shoo Shoo's first album with Knife Play? God, if I have, not for the longest frigging time. Like, probably not since, like, college. I really can't even remember if I have, honestly. I forgive you, Papa. Mason, actually, say my name again. Thanks for getting me into music. I'm going to get my first record player and vinyl. Wish you were here. That's cool. For Christmas, and records you recommend, vinyl over CD. Anything that came out of that same era of music, because that was when music was really kind of like made and mastered to be on vinyl, so like that Jimi Hendrix Experience shit, all that Beatles shit, all that prog rock shit, all that classic stuff is really like what you want to be hearing on vinyl over CD, because not only are you hearing a format or a sound that was meant to be on vinyl, but also you're talking about an analog recording being placed onto an analog format. It fits. It makes sense. Among the new remixes in Smash, what are some of your faves? Mine are Lore Keeper. Oh, I don't even know. I haven't even heard the whole Smash soundtrack yet, I don't think. I haven't even played the game that many hours. Literally all I've done at this point is unlocked all the characters. And the way that I did that was by cheating. Don't ask me how, but, I literally did cheat to unlock all the characters. So I haven't even sunk that many hours into the I'm not really a fan of Rolling Blackouts, honestly, but they seem like a pretty solid band. But so I haven't even sunk that many hours into the game yet to hear all the songs or even memorize them or even catalog them in my head. Thoughts on J. Cole's Friday Night Lights and the warm-up mixtapes? I mean, I think they're definitely better than his debut, but I do think the sound that he's kind of progressed into is more original than he was on his early mixtapes. Yeah, I mean, he definitely does have that passion, raw emotion, as you say here. Love you, Melon Man. Been a fan since 2011. Thank you, Benjamin. But yeah, I do think his mixtapes comparatively were a lot better than his debut record. But I do, in a way, kind of respect a little bit more the more original and conscious sound that he's kind of moved into. Anthony, what do I think about the new Bones album? I think it sounds like every other album he put out. I really don't get what makes it an album over any mixtape he's been dropping over the past several years. It sounds like everything else he does. I don't get it. I really, truly do not. I mean, look, it's a solid sound. It's cool. He can rap. He picks good beats and can, work out production himself too. But I really don't see the appeal in sort of just like kind of hearing him replay the same tropes and sounds with small, tiny, super insignificantly altered variations with each new record. I really don't, because no song really sounds any more significant than the last. Ow! Given his critical and commercial success, given his critical and commercial success, would doing a diss track about Kanye West be a bad idea? Like for Drake, even I have reasonable reason to have beef due to a dispute with him and my producer, or is it a bad idea? Oh, okay. All right. So I'm assuming that you're okay. So you're not like Drake level here of popularity. I mean, look, at this point, if you're a super obscure artist or a relatively obscure artist and you have beef with Kanye and you want to do a diss track against Kanye, look, there's an upside and a downside to that. It will most likely get you some kind of attention. It will most likely draw some eyes to you. However, some of those eyes, what might end up happening is somebody posts that on the Kanye to the subreddit or forum or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's just like, fucking tons of hate comments on your shit, and then because nobody else is familiar with your stuff outside of the diss track, you then become just the guy that people only heard about through the diss track, and like that's it. If you have a back catalog of impressive material that maybe people can get looped into after you do the diss track, maybe it'll be reason to do that, but the thing is, like, it's still a risk because, the music industry at the end of the day is all about connections and what you're able to build for yourself and networking and sort of like coming out of the gate or kind of becoming known for whatever diss track you've done against a certain artist before you've blown up on your own merits can be a bad move because, people may be less likely to want to work with you or whatever, But I guess that could flip as well if the diss track is so huge and so hot that it just kind of becomes this huge in-demand song, I guess. There's no way of truly predicting anything, but hopefully I've thrown out enough pros and cons so that you maybe have a better idea of what might happen. And it could just totally do nothing and be ignored and nobody ever hears about it. So I don't know. I guess that's, the chance of that is there's a chance of that happening too. I saw you share Kanye's tweet saying Drake might possibly kill him. Does this add legitimacy to the theory that Drake killed X or not? No, I don't think Drake killed X. If Drake was going to kill somebody, I think that X just saying a few random things about Drake and, kind of building up the whole "you stole my flow" beef or whatever is not really grounds for Drake to kill anybody. And also, while I do think Drake does know a lot of seedy people who might do some dirt for him, I don't know if he would go as far as to have anybody killed because that could come back on him so quickly and so easily. Like, it is hard to get away with murder these days, guys. Like, it's not easy. There's so much DNA. There's a paper trail in everything. Like, it's not just something you get away with that easily these days. I think there would be way too much liability for Drake if he were to just start having people killed. Thoughts on Wolfmother? I mean, I think they got a cool classic sound. It doesn't really do that much for me, but it's certainly more interesting than Greta Van Fleet, I guess. Thoughts on the new Street Sex record? Top of your head, out of 10. Out of 10, I was planning on reviewing it. I was listening to it more. I've been revisiting it over and over and over again, hoping for this moment where it was going to click with me and like blow me away or something. But it just hasn't ended up doing so. And where I'm essentially at this point is that I'm feeling almost indifferent to it, almost like a 5 out of 10 or something. And here's basically my point of view on it. I am enjoying the instrumental shift. The production is a bit clearer and a bit cooler, and that is nice, but I just cannot get past the vocals. They just sound like this really bad old school goth rock or industrial or just like a Marilyn Manson ripoff or something. Like, I just cannot get past it. It's just not really doing anything for me vocally. And it's just one of those things where there's one standout factor of the record that you just don't care for so much you can't really enjoy anything else about the album. And that's essentially my thoughts on it right now. Any thoughts on the new Failure album? In the future, Your Body Will Be the Furthest Thing from Your Mind. I haven't heard it, though I do know they're kind of like a classic, obscure, forgotten gem and everything, but it's not a record I've heard, though I can put that on my phone and remind myself to check it out. Cockatoo Twins. Excuse me. Do I make my own music in my free time? I don't even have enough free time to make my own music, honestly, even if I wanted to. Or do I practice playing bass? I mean, I just play bass casually for fun. I'd love to see what would happen if you got a basic DAW going. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't have enough time to produce my own shit as of right now. But I do like playing bass. It is fun. It is fun to play some bass. What's my opinion on Ice Cube's Predator? It's one of my personal faves. Also, please listen to BFG Division from the Doom 2016 soundtrack. I know you're not a fan of soundtracks, but this fucking killer metal song. All right, I'll give it a try, KTM. Sounds like a killer metal song. I mean, any Ice Cube from that era is pretty hardcore as fuck, which I do like a lot. Few rappers of Ice Cube's era sounded as badass as he did. And I don't know if the 90s would be, or the West Coast would be as quite as hard as it is without Ice Cube's sound and his contributions through his own solo stuff, through NWA, because he, even though he was cut from a very different cloth as a lot of the other rappers who he was surrounded by, he really made up with the grit in his voice and his lyrics, no doubt. Still waiting on the High School 2 musical soundtrack review. Well, honestly, my first 11 out of 10 review, I'm not just going to phone that in, you know what I mean? I'm gonna take my time with it. It's going to take a little while to formulate all my opinions for my first 11 out of 10 review. Next. Don't respond to that 1791 BS. His video is stupid and there is no reason you should waste your time, so on and so forth. Yeah, I mean, thank you for the PR advice, Anthony. It would seem that nobody who's really kind of trolling in the comments about it has the dough to pony up because, again, the drama, the commentary drama, it's not free, guys. You don't just get the commentary drama for free. The drama does not come free. Okay, if I, a creator, am going to be giving you the dramas, it's not for free. Have I listened to any of Rock Marciano's projects this year? Yes, I have. I thought they were okay. I mean, Rock, I respect his style. He's a one-of-a-kind guy, but he just comes off very one-dimensional to me, and I don't really get like a whole lot out of his lyrics personally. Even though there are rappers out there who are like equally quiet and subtle, like Ka, but his words are so poetic and his double entendres are so creative and his references are so fantastic that it's like I can really like turn his words over in my head like a fucking Rubik's Cube like forever and like get so much out of them, whereas that's just not the same case. That's just not the case for Rock Marciano. You know, again, I respect his style and everything, but I just don't really get a lot out of his music. When I'm not listening to it in small doses, you know, because after a while it does kind of grow really dry and lifeless for me. Hey, do I know the band There for Tomorrow? I've been a fan of them, and while I think they're really underrated, the drummer was one of my dad's band students, so on and so forth. I wonder if I've heard it. I haven't heard of them, but that name sounds pretty emo. Is that an emo band? Or There for Tomorrow sounds like a pretty emo band name, but you know, still could be good. There's a good emo out there. Not to diss emo, I'm just saying. You know, the sounds like a little bit of an emo band name. Just like, you know, if you said the band's name was Brutal Blood Death Skull Crusher, you know, I might say, well, you know, that sounds kind of like a gore grind band or something, you know, or like a Pig Raper or something. You know, oh wow, that sounds kind of gore grindy. You know, a group that forces sex upon swine sounds pretty gore grindy. So just commenting on what the name makes me feel. You know, maybe they're like a progressive, like electronic new jazz band. I don't know. You know, that could be the case too. What album do I have serious nostalgia goggles for? I guess it would have to be Alkaline Trio's. Okay, like an album that's not really that good, but I just love it because it's like nostalgia for me. What an album that I have real nostalgia goggles for? Probably like mindless self-indulgences, like Frankenstein Girls. Like that record I probably have some severe nostalgia goggles for. I mean, there are a lot of older albums that I love that I'm nostalgic for, but I don't know if any of them have aged quite as badly as that record. But you know, that album is like so bad it's good, kinda. So I kind of love it for that reason as well. Ow! Please respond to 1791L. What? Well, not for $20 fucking dollars, dude. What do you think? I'm a whore? You think I'm a cheap fucking whore? It's gonna take a lot more than $20 to get me to respond to 1791L, Joshua. A cheap fucking slut to you. Think you just give me $20 and then all of a sudden I'm just like sucking your dick and talking about 1791L? No. Which album made you said, this is too much for me? Like, this is too complex or experimental for you? I think an example is, there's a metal artist who goes by the name of Jute Geit on Bandcamp, and he makes this crazy complex, like, microtonal metal music, and it's pretty fucking intense, for me at least. I know my buddy Austin, who's into his stuff, thinks I'm a total pussy for not liking it. But I think that music is definitely pretty intense. And when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, it's a little much. It's a little much for me. Thoughts on X Hex and Rilo Kiley? I've not really gotten into X Hex, so I can't say. As far as Rilo Kiley, a solid indie pop band. You know, they had some good records out when I was in college. I haven't really gotten into a lot of their newer stuff. I mean, I feel like eventually they got to a point where they were just like making music for NPR listeners, and I really just like kind of got uninterested in that, but you know, still they put out some good records in the 2000s, you know, some good indie pop records. Angry video game theme song for Classics Week Review in. Fuck. Can I even remember that song? He gonna take you back to the past to play some shitty games that suck ass. He'd rather have a buffalo take a diarrhea dump in his ear. He'd rather eat the rotten asshole of roadkill, drown it with beer. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angry Nintendo nerd. That's it. I think that's it. Xavion, thank you. Thank you, Xavion. Not a question, but thank you for turning me on to that new Daughters album. Holy shit, holy shit. Yeah, it is a great record. I even saw that album got number fucking 2 on Rolling Stone's top albums of the year list. Number 2 on the Rolling Stone list. Daughters are officially fucking dad rock, guys. Daughters are dad rock. It's number 2 on the Rolling Stone list. Maybe I'm dad rock. I just lost my Radiohead virginity with OK Computer and haven't had an eargasm like that since the first time I heard My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I need that Smash Ultimate video with Dom, please, Melon. You know, I was texting Dom the other day, and fucking Dom, he says he doesn't have the Smash. He doesn't have the Smash game. And he says he doesn't know if he's going to get the Smash game because competitive fighting games stress him out. And that makes me sad. And I do get why some people are stressed out by such games, but, you know, come on. Come on, man. Just got into Sigur Rós, especially the second album. That is a good one. And was wanting some more ambient indie-type music to listen to. Any recommendations? Love you, Melon. I mean, sure, ambient music does inspire what they do, but, I mean, you know, they're really kind of like a post-rock band. And if you're looking for more stuff like that, I mean, I would recommend Godspeed You Black Emperor. I would recommend Mogwai, you know, especially their newer stuff, which does tend to be a little bit more ambient and relaxing and electronic. Mogwai, Mogwai, good band, solid band. How do I listen to music before you review it? On headphones, on a stereo, casually while I'm working out, or, you know, just in my office here, huddled in a Word document, just kind of like typing away, writing notes, you know. I listen to it in a few different, I guess, contexts, you know, in sort of a casual fashion to kind of get a feel for the vibe of the record, listen to it in sort of a passive sense, and then after that kind of like dive into the details of and start writing down what really kind of makes the album tick, to me anyway. Yeah, we're in the car working out, you know, those are definitely places, though, I work from home, so I'm not usually like in the car long enough to be listening to a full album anyway a lot of the time. Thoughts on Jason Isbell or hardworking Americans? I'll look up the hardworking Americans or hardworking Americans. I've not heard of them, but Jason's stuff is cool. I admire what he's trying to do as far as like lightening and progressing the country sound a little bit, but his songs and his sound doesn't really hit me that hard. You know, I do tend to like country a little bit grittier and a little bit more outlaw generally, but I respect what he's doing. I think generally he's a good guy, good artist. Hey, give Old Gray's Slow Burn a quick review, please. Also pronounced Xavian. Sorry about that. I've not heard that record, so I can't give it a quick review. I apologize, but still, Xavian, thank you very much for being so generous. Your videos debunking on right wings helped change me from cringy libertarian into a glorious, godless SJW. Thank you very much, truly. Well, I don't, okay. I mean, I wasn't trying to turn anybody into an SJW or anything. I just think some people are kind of cringy. I mean, I don't think cringe is exclusive to any side of the political aisle. I mean, just generally for me, when I feel like people are really truly kind of fucking up politically is when you're kind of trending toward authoritarianism. And I do think there are authoritarian elements of the left. There are authoritarian elements of the right, especially the right at this moment. And that does worry me. No matter which direction that sort of authoritarianism is coming from, the moment where you think that your ideas and beliefs are so important that you can just force them onto other people, even violently, to me, then you've kind of like really missed the message, missed the point. That's not to say that there aren't moments where, you should defend yourself or anything like that, or that revolution has not ever worked in the past. I mean, obviously, our whole country is based on us, revolting against the Brits and everything like that. But citizens enacting violence on fellow citizens because you don't agree with them, politically, I'm sort of like lost on that. Slow Dive. They've been on a few year-end lists. Yes, I did not like the new album, so it will not be on my year-end list, to say the least. What was the first Swans album I heard, and what did I think of it? The first Swans record I heard, I think, was The Great Annihilator, and the reason I heard it was because the band Fear Factory back in the day did a cover of a song off of that record, and it's, at the time when I was a nu metal kid, I can't say that I was like super into it, because it didn't really have like that metal sound that I was used to, and I was still like a teenager and listening to kind of like abstract post-rocky experimental rock music was probably not like, in my musical vocabulary at the time. But later down the road, when I got much more into noise music and post-punk in college and afterwards, Swan's early discography, and tracks from Soundtracks for the Blind, I did kind of listen and get used to and enjoy. And then I just sort of lost touch with Swans entirely. But then they started coming out with records again, and I was like, okay, let me like try reviewing them again. Their first comeback record I wasn't all that crazy about, but then they really kind of ended up blowing me away with The Seer. So, it's kind of my Swans trajectory, I guess. You Should Be My Russian Bride, but I'm not even Russian. I'm American. Now respond to 1791L. Also, Dial It deserved an 11 out of 10. There are some escorts that won't even do it for $100, Adrian, honestly. Maybe toward the end of the live stream, if you've made me feel like a little bit less of a slut. But I do kind of agree that I did underrate Dial It a little bit. I will admit this to you, because you've been this generous. I will admit to you that I did underrate Dial It a little bit. I did underrate Dial It a little bit, and I think you will be pleased and surprised to see where it ends up landing once my year-end lists come out. So once my year-end list is out, I think you may be surprised to see where exactly that lands, where that is. But hey, keep those 1791L super chats coming, please. Fugazi worst to best. Cheers XXX. PS their best is The Argument, not Repeater. I mean, I think that's arguable. The Argument is definitely one of their best. Repeater is maybe my personal favorite. Not even Repeater, but I think Red Medicine is maybe my personal favorite. Though I think I would prefer Repeater over The Argument, but I think The Argument is definitely arguably one of their best. Or if it's arguably their best, but I would not subscribe to that argument. Hey, Anthony, I'm really enjoying your content. I don't want to tell you to listen to music, but I think you'll really enjoy Josh Ritter. He has been recommended to me. I have tried his stuff out. Unfortunately, it hasn't really stuck with me, though, Lucas, but still, thank you for being generous. Best shoegaze album post-2000. I mean, maybe Death Consciousness. Maybe that's it. Thoughts on Scarlord, old SoundCloud XXX Tentacion, this new wave of mixing thrash metal with hip-hop. Also, Rico Nasty does it, too. She's not the only, they're not the only ones. I think it's a good idea, However, I think some of the artists doing it have seen, as I think X sort of realized after a while, because he kind of drifted away from that sound. And also kind of hearing Scarlord's full-length projects, it's a little one-dimensional, Also, that recent collaborative record, City Morgue, it sort of felt one-dimensional to me as well, even though it was pretty hard-hitting. I mean, it's a newer sound, It's pretty cool. But unless some artists like actually start bringing some better songwriting and some more substantive lyrics to the whole thing, I don't really know if it's going to last all that long, because it just sort of seems like it's a one-trick pony in a way. Though I do think metal and hip-hop and rock and hip-hop is definitely a fusion that could continue to progress. Thoughts on Duster's boom in popularity? Is it deserved specifically? I mean, honestly, I haven't been following any of this boom in popularity or anything, so I'll just have to put it in my phone. But Stereo Gum's out here blowing up artists. Shout out to them. Shout out to Stereo Gum. Respect to them. I respect the Stereo Gum hustle. They're one of the better earlier music blogs that came out there, and they're in the position they are for a reason. Just got back from the hospital, feeling good. Felt like sharing the goodness. Good. I'm glad you're good. I'm glad you're feeling good. Agree or disagree? In retrospect, Rammstein has some decent songs if you can get past the odd fetish imagery in the lyrics. Honestly, I think Rammstein is one of the better new and alternative metal acts to come out of that era. I mean, I have their first 2 CDs in my CD collection. I've seen them. I've had the pleasure of seeing them live when I was in high school. And again, they're one of the few bands that I used to listen to back in the day that, looking back, I mean, I don't regret it. I think they're a good, solid band. So, good new alternative metal, industrial metal band who's actually pretty cool. I don't mind the fetishy lyrics. I think they're actually pretty fun. What do I think of the recent Smashing Pumpkins reunion minus Darcy? I mean, I guess it's okay. They're free to, get back together, but I thought the new record was boring. It was boring as hell. Really, really like over the hill generic stuff. Brian Wilson versus Lennon McCartney. I prefer Lennon McCartney, honestly. They just have more. They just have more. They just have more amazing shit. I think Uncle Adams might be sketchy. You think so? You think it might be sketchy? He might be. I mean, everybody's a little sketchy. A lot of people are a little sketchy. And honestly, while I like Uncle Adams' internet persona, I truly don't know what's in the man's heart. I really don't know what's in the man's heart. Have I heard the new Underachievers album? Will I review? I have heard it. I think it's their most sanitary record yet and really disappointing, and I'm not really sure if I'm going to review it at this point. It may make it into the next Why review. In fact, it most likely will. Wanted to recommend Maya Folic, but her recordings don't do her live performances justice, so I'll ask, any acts you prefer live to recorded? Yeah, I mean, I have heard her records, but I didn't really think all that much of them. I'm not surprised to hear that maybe her live shit is better. For me, Talking Heads was very much that band. I enjoyed their live recordings consistently much more than their albums. It took me a long time to actually enjoy the albums more, or really as much. As a fellow adult who's gone to see Brockhampton, do I think the fans are annoying as hell, or am I just old? You might be just old. I mean, I've seen them. I didn't really find them annoying live. They just seemed like a bunch of kids who were excited to, see a group that they really love. I remember being that excited to see bands that I liked, and I was probably a fucking annoying, stupid kid. Did I ever listen to Fox and Glass album, Never Nearer My God? Nearer My God. Yes, I did. I thought it was definitely an improvement on their last record, a pretty bright and somewhat ambitious indie rock record, but in the grander scheme of things, it still didn't really stand out to me, honestly. So, yeah. Do you, as a critic, relate to Anton Ego's speech in the movie Ratatouille about the role of critics? I don't think I've seen the fucking movie Ratatouille all the way through. I really don't think I've seen the movie Ratatouille. I will say I did think the whole rant about critics in the movie Birdman was trying a little hard and kind of dumb and a little bitter. I'm not against the idea of ranting about critics in art. A lot of artists who I admire have done it and have done it well. Prince has done it. I believe Kevin Barnes might have even done it in a song or in a lyric or something. Might be wrong about that. Or I might be just equating that to, his responses online that I've seen to criticisms of his work. But, it can be done well, and I've heard it and I've seen it done in ways that I liked. But Birdman's example, though, does stick out to me as a moment where I thought it was done kind of like badly and annoyingly. You seem to think A$AP Rocky has fallen off. Why do you think that is? I think the songs suck. I think the songs just suck now. They're sucky songs. The songs aren't good anymore. The songs were good on his first mixtape, or rather, you know, the Live Love ASAP and the Long Live ASAP. But since then, the songs have sucked. Be honest, the only reason a music reviewer would go on a tour is to cheat on his pumpkin-headed wife with pretentious kids, refund these 1791 L people their money back, Shithany Loctano. Wow, that's a somewhat anti-Semitic comment there, and I think it's really funny that you would assert that I would go on tour to cheat on my wife, which is, if you had ever been to one of my tour shows, you would know that that's not even really an opportunity, because my performances are a total sausage fest. So it's mostly just bros. So it's all just dudes at my shows, man. So the opportunity to cheat on my significant other, which I would never do, because I really kind of go out on tour to make money for my family. Yeah, that's not even an option that's presented, unless I just wanted to cheat on my wife with college-age bros who listen to Death Grips. Which, I mean, you know, if I was gay and loved Death Grips fans, I'd be swimming in options. But that's just not my sexuality. Hi, Melon. IMO, every time I dies, lyrics are worth a second look, especially Low Teens XOX from Australia. I mean, every time I die, I mean, I guess I'm not crazy about their lyrics generally, but it's usually not their lyrics that really kind of turn me off. It's just kind of their somewhat, you know, above average metalcore sound. And I will say that last comment, you know, with the guy with the tour thing, I will be generous and count that toward the 1791L, get Anthony to talk about that fund. So, you know, I am counting it up. I am counting it up. So, you know, it's just, I still feel like you guys think I'm a total slut. To divert the topic from music, I'll count this one as 2. But where would you place Reddit's politics and 4chan's poll on the political spectrum? On a similar note, where would I place myself in 1791? I'd probably place myself in kind of if we're looking at the political quadrant over here, probably in like the lower left, you know, like the libertarian left, I would say, section. You know, slightly, you know, kind of like in the Bernie area, you know, just like social safety nets kind of person, government sanctioned bribery, you know, AKA I forget the word off the top of my head, but these campaign contributions that basically influence in a corrupt fashion the people at the top of our government. As far as like, I don't really follow the Our Politics Reddit. 4chan's poll is just so off the spectrum, and I do mean to use the word spectrum there. And 1791, I don't really know, honestly. I mean, I don't really care for the content of the videos. It is much farther right than me generally. But honestly, I don't really know like what's in their heart politically, honestly. How do I feel about what Clarence Clarity is doing with the ongoing single, slowly changing cover art? I mean, I think it's kind of creative, definitely a different way of promoting things, though I don't know if it's something that he's really kind of like, is it something he's made clear enough? You know what I mean? And I think sort of like doing something like that can be cool. But I feel like once you've released the record, you're kind of like, you've almost like ruined the trajectory of it. Doing something like that to build up to a big album release, I think it'd be really cool. But doing it sort of like after the fact and dropping tracks that I think are really so good they should have been on the album, to me is like a little bit of a lost opportunity as far as like promoting an album goes. Hey, Melon. Do you think you'll ever revisit any of the Garden's albums? No, not really. I mean, I've heard both of their records. They both kind of disappointed me in the same way. I'll definitely try out another Garden album, but I'm not really sure if I'm all that game or interested in hearing their past 2 records again. Also, thanks for getting me into Caro and JPEG. No problem, man. Thank you for watching. Song suggestion: Thin Blue Flame. The song might change your mind. P.S. I mean, Thin Blue Flame. By who? I mean, I hopefully if I Google it, it will come up. Gonna cross my fingers on that one. a second. Did I get that one? Okay. Maybe I've missed this. You seem oddly silent on Mac Miller and have not really addressed his death, so on and so forth. Well, the thing is, I feel like his death came around a time when I did give his album a pretty negative review, which honestly, I still pretty much feel that way about his album. And around that time, his fans were like so fucking pissed at me. And understandably, you know, it's like you don't agree with me on the album, and it sort of coincided inadvertently with his passing. And I feel like at the time when he passed away, I was the last person any Mac Miller fan wanted to hear from. So, I mean, I just didn't end up making a video about it at the time because I just felt like me jumping into that situation to be like, oh, you know, rest in peace, so on and so forth, would like just make his fans mad. And I didn't want to make any of them mad. I didn't want to piss them off. I wanted to let them, you know, grieve and enjoy themselves and celebrate his music without having to hear from me just being like, oh, well, you know, blah, 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 you know. So it's like I'm not trying to like ruin anybody's day or piss anybody off. So I just kind of like stood back and I just let, you know, the fans have their time and enjoy themselves without me sort of like interjecting myself into it in a way that I didn't really think that I needed to or deserved to, you know what I mean? Because as many Mac reviews as I did, and while I did enjoy some of his projects, you know, Good AM I think is still pretty great. I wasn't like the biggest Mac fan. I didn't really feel like I was in a position to sort of like celebrate his music like a lot of other writers and fans would have been. You know, sorry if that seemed like a little cold on my end or anything, but I didn't really want to piss anybody off or sort of make it about me or make it about me not liking or liking some projects or whatever. So yeah, that's basically kind of like what kind of drove that for me. What's my opinion on Ice Cube's new album, Everything's Corrupt? I think it's pretty lackluster, frankly. What the hell is 1791L? It's a YouTube channel that I don't really care for all that much. Justify ranking Anomina above Lateralis. I mean, I guess you could say Lateralis instrumentally is more ambitious and it's a little grander in scope, but I do think Anomina does have better tunes. I just think the tunes are cooler, and I think it's a little bit of a darker, more despondent listen, in my opinion, which I do kind of like. Let me see. What are your thoughts on Public Enemy's Fear of a Black Planet and Apocalypse 91? Chuck D is top 1 rappers ever. Also favorite Mastodon album. Not about the Mastodon off the top of my head, but I will say Fear of a Black Planet is great. I don't like it as much as Apocalypse 91, and I prefer Nation of Millions to both of them. But Public Enemy generally is pretty fantastic. A viewer of the show, interestingly enough, a relative of hers actually married Terminator X, and Public Enemy just literally performed at their wedding. And she sent me video of it, and it was like actually kind of amazing. Are you familiar with Ram Ranch? Easily one of the best songs of the year. No, I'm not. I'm not familiar with that. I guess I'll check that out, and maybe it'll just be some big fucking troll. I guess we'll see. Why no the Kicking Mule review? I did talk about it earlier. Didn't really care for the vocals. Could not get past the vocals, frankly. Enjoyed a lot of the instrumentation, but just could not get past the voice at all, to be honest. Thoughts on Doomtree Collective and or the members' solo projects? I mean, I respect it. I think they're pretty cool. It's definitely conscious. It's definitely forward-thinking. I guess there are moments where I do find it to be a little kind of like flowery and melodramatic, which does turn me off a little bit. Which, you know, a lot of backpack rap of like the 2000s sort of tends to be, and that's kind of like the inspirational route for a lot of what they do. I mean, I do respect their talents, and I do think they're generally like a cool collective, but I don't really get as much out of it as some people do, honestly. Hello, Paisan! What do I think of YouTube history being broken this week? Wait, think of YouTube is like you can't go back and see your older videos? I haven't really followed that debacle. Do I think YouTube will learn from such negative pushback or bus as usual? As usual. I don't know. I mean, I think YouTube's just going to always be making mistakes because, you know, there's not a whole lot of like reason for them not to ever make mistakes because there's not like a whole lot of competition sort of like there to kind of swoop their viewers up if, you know, the platform is so dysfunctional that people are having a hard time using it or just aren't having fun using it. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of other games in town as far as like being a creator who can build a brand and, you know, make money off of what they're doing and so on and so forth. You know, you could go on Twitch, you can go on like Gumroad. There are other places, but, you know, YouTube is really kind of like the main vein of the internet in a lot of ways. Did you not give A Crow Looked at Me a 10 because you didn't want it to be memed? Yeah, no, that wasn't really why. That's a terrible reason not to give something a 10 if it deserves a 10. I would never not give something a 10 because I was afraid somebody was going to meme it. I don't really give a fuck if somebody memes something. Diva worst to best. Could be fun, but I don't know honestly right now. I am working on the Outcast one, and then after that, I guess I'll kind of reassess it, which one I want to do next. In my opinion, they are the most underappreciated band of the punk era. I mean, I agree. They're definitely one of the more underappreciated post-punk acts out there for sure. What are your thoughts on the new 21 Pilots album, Trench? What do I think of I mean, I gave it a very positive review. I liked it a lot. Actually, I loved it. I mean, I gave it a yellow flannel. And the album's going to end up on my year-end list. So, yeah, I think it's generally a good album. Liked it a lot. The production was better. Songwriting seemed a little bit darker and more serious. Liked some of the weird concepts and themes and some of the lyrics. Tunes generally were pretty good. It's good. Can I have my hundo back, please? I need to eat today. Well, you still needed to eat, even if you gave me the hundo. Well, I can't feed you with my opinions of 1791L. I mean, look, you know, I am feeling a little bit less like a whore right now. But I'm still going to wait to talk about it because honestly, it's not really a priority. And I don't see why it should be. So Adrian, I apologize. You know, Anthony@theneedledrop.com. That is my email. If there's something I can do to make it up to you, let me know. All right. In the past, you've mentioned emo needs a breath of fresh air. What would that look like to you musically or lyrically? I don't know. I mean, I think before they broke up, Brave Little Abacus was kind of on the way to doing something cutting edge before they changed up their sound and did something more generic. I think No Longer Afraid to Die, you know, was doing some really cool stuff, but their latest record was just kind of like really run of the mill. There have been some bands out there who have been kind of like on the cutting edge of something crazy or experimental or kind of refreshing, but it sort of seems like every time they kind of pull back into something else. You know, some of these bands out there who have been playing emo or have gotten big in the emo scene, you can't even get them to like keep playing emo for like 5 records. You know, they end up like playing some generic like alternative rock shit or something, you know? So I don't know. You know, I really don't know. I don't have an answer. You know, and some of these newer, bigger bands, they don't even keep making records anyway. I don't even know if there's that much money in making emo. You know, so some of these artists have to like just kind of pack it up. Did I get a chance to watch the film Mandy? No, I haven't, but it looks like really aesthetically beautiful. So I'm like kind of actually like intrigued to try it out. But I've heard a little bit of the score because somebody did recommend it to me in the last live stream, and it sounded pretty cool. It did sound pretty cool. It was pretty foreboding. You gave Corbin's Mourn a 7. Are you looking forward to anything he does in the future? Yes, absolutely. Although he seems like kind of a volatile guy. I don't know if his next record, like what is his next album even going to sound like? I guess that's what's going on in my head. Do I think Blade should just release instrumentals I think Blade should do whatever the hell he wants. You know, it doesn't appeal to me, but I mean, you know, he has fans. People like what he does. I mean, PewDiePie was just freaking out about him on Twitter the other day or tweeting about him or something. You know, I mean, he's got people who like what he does, and some people are actually super influential. So, I mean, you know, you don't need to fucking appeal to me to have a successful music career, please. You know, just like, I think he should just do whatever he's doing. And again, he has a crowd, he has a following. I think what he's doing generally, I guess, is working. It's not working for me, but it doesn't really need to. Has there ever been a song that ruined my day as soon as you heard it? Yes. We'll be having a wonderful Christmas time. We'll be having a wonderful Christmas time. It ruins my day every time I hear it. What do I think of the run of Accept albums since 2010? And what is some good atmospheric hip hop that I can check out? Maybe Clouded on Anti-Con. Basically, maybe the whole Anti-Con roster that I could check out that I've already heard. MF Doom. I don't know if I would call MF Doom atmospheric hip hop. I don't know what you mean by atmospheric hip hop. And as far as Accept, they're not really one of my favorite metal bands, honestly. Yeah, I can't really say I even care for them, truthfully. So, yeah, I can't really answer that one, sadly. What newer albums stand out to you for their originality, inventiveness, etc.? What do I think is at the forefront of innovation? I mean, definitely Kids See Ghosts, the new Sophie album as well, just to name a few. The new Sophie album, definitely. The new Rosalia record, as far as flamenco goes and pop. I never reviewed Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap, and it has a Grammy nomination. Where would I rank it in albums of the year? I don't even know if I would rank it personally, because it just doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, dude has a nice baseline of talent, but I don't really get much out of his beat choices, his songs, or his lyrics. I mean, I don't dislike the dude, but his music just doesn't really resonate with me all that much. It just feels a little, above average, but just barely above average, I guess. Yeah, it's not really doing much for me. Appreciate that he got a Grammy nod, though. Have I read the Kanye Drake shit? I haven't read all of it. I read a little bit of it before I started streaming, but I will be doing a full video on it tomorrow on the Fantano channel. Also, why should I become vegan? Because the production of animal products for consumption, dairy, eggs, meat, so on and so forth, is one of the most destructive factors currently to the environment. Contributes to red tide, contributes to tons of CO2 being pumped into the atmosphere, contributes to climate change. And it's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. Being vegan, at least doing it cleanly with, fresh vegetables and fruits and so on and so forth is much healthier. Thoughts on the current Bay Area hip hop scene? I mean, it's got some cool figures, it's got friggin' SOB, RB, B, all those guys. They're cool. It's not like my favorite scene at the moment, but I'm glad it's still around. It's cool that the Bay Area still has like a pretty distinct sound, and it seems like no matter what's going on the outside, they're just kind of doing their own thing, and people still like it. So generally, I think that's good. Pete, my boring rap song. Conceptually, I come full circle in an animated Ouroboros shit. Ideas like Okay, is Da Sundance Kid? I'm guessing that is the name of it, and I will save that in my being the most downvoted vid of all time. Somebody says, guys referring to YouTube Rewind being the most downvoted vid of all time. I forget what comment that's in related to, but I apologize to the person who brought that up. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? Kel loves orange soda. Though that's not from Good Burger, but still, Keenan and Kel forever. Thanks for telling me to listen to The Money Store and Ex-Military. I loved both. Last stream I suggested you check out Ori. The album came out earlier this year and sounds amazing. Yes, I did give it a shot. I did save that in my phone. I can't say it really did all that much for me, honestly, but still glad that you're digging it. And Ben, thank you again for your generosity in supporting the stream, supporting the channel. We got like 30 minutes left. There's still a chance to force me into a position where I talk about 1979 B, C, D, E, F, G. How do I feel about Modest Mouse's second EP, Interstate 8? It's up there with some of the band's best work. I don't think I've ever heard it, honestly. I don't think I've actually gotten into any of the Modest Mouse EPs. I really have not. I'm sorry. I suck, man. I mean, I've heard every major album, but I've never even gotten to the EPs. I wasn't even aware that they had that many EPs. One, much less two. I mean, sure, probably like a super early one, but I didn't even know they had like 2 EPs. Salutations, Mr. Mellon. What is my favorite hexatonic scale? Can you please give a shout out to the Sweenster? Shout out to the Sweenster, whoever the hell that is. I hope it's not anything terrible. It better not be anything terrible. I don't know who the hell that is. But yes, I can't say that I know any hexatonic scales off the top of my head. You're crazy. The reason people think that rock is dead is because they haven't realized indie rock is the new modern rock wave. AM, Cage, Always, Snail Mail. I mean, indie rock has been around a while. Indie rock kind of had its moment in the sun in the 2000s where, like, you know, bands like Death Cab and Arcade Fire were, like, you know, getting tons of attention and mainstream press and so on and so forth. I mean, indie rock is not gone, but, you know, it was way more relevant last decade, frankly. I mean, I'm not mad about it still being around. I'm glad it's still around, and I like Always, and, you know, I do like, you know, some Snail Mail tracks and everything, but, you know, I think rock's kind of overdue for something, you know, other than indie rock. Is your albums of the decade list going to be based on influence or personal enjoyment? Personal enjoyment, definitely personal enjoyment. What is your goal for... what is your goal for the list in general? Yeah, mostly. Also, I can't come to the Vancouver show. It's 19 plus. Oh, that makes me sad. You can't go if you have a chaperone or anything. That fucking sucks. Sadly, I didn't pick that shit, but yeah, I mean, my goals for the list in general are just to list my favorite albums of the past decade. Yeah, I'm not going to really be doing a contextual thing or anything like that. You know, if I want to do something like that, I will do like a, you know, decade honorable mentions or something like that. Have you ever heard Reincarnation by Sabawa? It's super underrated, top 5 experimental album of the year. I have not, but I will give it a try. And shout out to Black Hand Path, although I'm not all that crazy about the project. They do have some cool stuff. What's my favorite Neurosis album and why? I've been asked this quite a few times before, and I think it's probably Silver. You know, that's a pretty solid one. Excuse me, Tejas, Danny. I hope you're doing well. Will I review the new Tabby album? I have no plans on reviewing the new Tabby albums right now. It does have some cool flows on it and everything. It's, you know, sometimes the vocals just get a little intense for me. Also wanted to say you've shown me a lot of new artists this year, and I appreciate this channel a lot. And I do also feel kind of odd having reviewed music with Tabby before and kind of having an association with him for a while. And, you know, sort of reviewing his music in a somewhat objective fashion. But still, shout out to Tabby. Shout out to the Pale Hipster / Tabby YouTube channel, online brand, all that stuff. You know, do check out his new rap record. Any chance on a new Madness bracket? I haven't seen any Madness brackets, any new ones anyway. Maybe I'll do another one at some point, but I think I might just wait for March to come around to do, you know, some more. But I guess there are probably some old ones floating around that I could do. We'll see. Bill Callahan, Apocalypse deserves much higher than a 6, you insane melon man. Also, thanks for reviewing the new Current 93. It's super epic. It is a good record. Although, you know, there are other Bill Callahan records in that same era that I just think are better. That's all. You know. Is it true that you're straight edge? If you have taken psychedelics, including weed, does it change you or the way you listen to and evaluate music? No, I don't take psychedelics or anything like that. And even if I did, I don't think I'd want to do it while I review, because I kind of need to be of sound mind and be writing down and notating things, and can't have shit, you know, sort of passing by me or have my mind altered so that, you know, maybe something doesn't really have the same impact that it would if, you know, I were clear at the time when I was talking about it. And honestly, like, if I were to review one album high, I'd have to review them all fucking high, and I don't want to do that. Pink Flag versus Chairs Missing. I'm a little bit more of a Pink Flag guy. Wire for Classics Week. I saw you gave Pink Flag a 10 on Rate Your Music. I do have a classic Pink Flag review that I did back in the day, but I had to take it down because I had song clips in it. Ow! And I wish I still had it. I wish I did. I don't. Thank you, Melon. Your self-confidence vid has helped me strive to be a better person. By the way, did I tease? That is the plan on Insta. I did tease something, and you will see what that is during list week. You like the McCafferty song Paper Pencil Copyright. Why didn't I review the record or include it in the Why You Know review? I don't think I even heard the rest of the record. I'll just kind of use this as an opportunity to put this in my phone and remind myself to hear the rest of it, I guess. But yeah, I didn't hear the rest of the album, so that's why I didn't end up talking about it. Any prediction on Mick's musical direction following his last two projects? What are simply lacking the magic of the waters? Honestly, I don't really have any predictions for Mick at this point. I really don't know. His new record just seemed like really laid back and too casual to really kind of sink my teeth into. Had some decent bars and some jazzy production and everything, but it just seemed like way too breezy and inconsequential. Hey, Melon, you should check out Highly Suspect Great Rock. I have, not really crazy about him, though. Also, thoughts on 1,000 Mods. I don't think I've heard 1,000 Mods. I can't really comment. But again, not really a Highly Suspect guy, to be honest. Best of Alan Parsons Project. I mean, I've heard some of their stuff back in the day when one of my friends was like huge into prog and everything, but I can't say I've really been all that into their stuff. B-side tracks from Fleet Foxes. I haven't heard the B-sides yet. I know it's out, and some people have asked me about it here and there, and I probably should do something on it. You know, I'll put it on my calendar. Though I don't think I may end up getting to it until like January or something, but still, I should make the time for it. I got a 90s electronic record to recommend, Deep Space by Model 500, Juan Atkins. Okay, I'll give it a try. Thank you, Red Cal X Z. How influential do I think Brockhampton has been in the music scene? Honestly, I don't know if we can really measure their influence as of right now. I think it's going to be a few years before we can really see how influential Brockhampton is. I mean, they have made a splash, but their sound hasn't been so in demand that everybody's just been like copying their shit. You know what I mean? Like Jaden has definitely been copying their shit. You know, there's some artists out there doing it for sure. But it hasn't been so widespread that like you hear it everywhere. You know what I mean? Thoughts on Coldplay. Also, you should wish Eli a happy birthday on camera. Happy birthday, Eli. I mean, you know, X and Y is probably my favorite, though I haven't heard it in a long time. I do like kind of the clean, sleek, poppy, futuristic sound that they bring to the table. I think maybe they don't get quite enough credit for, you know, how unique in the mainstream, you know, rock landscape that record was. But you know, I think that era of Coldplay was hated a little unfairly, and now I feel like these days, like with their latest records, they're so friggin' bad, and I wish the amount of pushback that they got on those albums they were kind of getting currently, because their new stuff is just awful. I think my question got buried or something, but you like Apocalypse 91 more than Black Planet? No, I like Black Planet more than Apocalypse 91. I remember saying this. I don't think you heard it. I think Black Planet consistently just has better songs. Apocalypse 91, I think, was a little at the end of the road, I guess, of like, you know, Public Enemy's like best era. I said I like Black Planet better, and I prefer Nation of Millions to both of them. Hopefully that you guys were able to hear that. I don't know why you didn't hear that, or if maybe you got up and got a drink or something, or maybe the mic took a shit. I have no idea. Thoughts on the album Only by the Night? I have not heard that record, so I cannot comment. I can pop it in my phone and check it out later, but I cannot comment on Only by the Night. I'm sorry. Hi, Melon. Am I having a good day? I think I'm having an okay day today. You know, I got my reviews up in time, my videos. The Death Grips video I did was fun. The Radiohead video I did was okay. Looking forward to doing this Kanye video tomorrow. You know, generally I'm having a pretty chill, relaxed day, honestly. It's a pretty laid-back day. Mostly, my head is mostly in a spot where I'm just kind of looking forward to list week. Mostly just kind of looking forward to list week at this point. Listen to Ram Ranch by Grant McDonald. Somebody did recommend that earlier, and it is in my phone. I will try to take the time to give it a listen. Nigel Gilbert. Hi, Anthony. I love you. I just want to say thank you. I feel that YouTube is full of high fructose corn syrup, not substantive, doesn't foster thinking. I love your content. You make me smarter. That is incredibly nice, and I don't know if I really deserve you being that nice to me, honestly. That's like a little too nice. That is highly nice. That is some very high niceness. Have you ever heard of Hippocampus? I have. I can't really. I your avatar. That the meme that comes from is savage as fuck. But yes, I have heard of Hippocampus. Their new record, I can't really say did anything for me. It just felt like really uppity and just way too shiny pop music that just really turned me off. Maybe just a little too sweet for me. You know, my pop sweet tooth was not really up to snuff that day, I guess. But yeah, I can't really say I care for their stuff all that much, frankly. So, Aaron, thank you for asking and supporting and being curious and everything. Ram Ranch on the stream right now. Ram Ranch. Joey Perp newest album. I did talk about that in one of the latest Why You Know reviews, and generally I thought it was just not really all that good. It was like everything that I liked from Eye Drops, completely missing, just not even there. Bradman Kilo Kish is okay. I haven't even heard from her in a while. Is she still doing her thing? I don't know what you can do to improve your music at the moment. Hey, Anthony, I know you're kind of a La Dispute fan since Wildfire grew on you. Have I heard their new single Thoughts? I have not heard their new single, unfortunately. However, I did hear there was a new single, and I am looking forward to that new record. And List Week is next week. Next week is List Week. Depending on how I'm feeling, I may even get List Week started early tomorrow and just do an honorable mentions video, because I have sort of already listed out my honorable mentions, and go from there. So List Week is next week. So lists coming soon. Hello again. Been following your channel for years now, and I'm curious. What is the best doom stoner metal album I've ever heard or reviewed on this channel? I don't know about reviewed on this channel, but I think Dope Smoker is kind of the ultimate doom stoner album, honestly. What's my gag with Sky Ferreira? My favorite album, I experienced such cognitive dissonance because I rated it a floor. I mean, I don't really have a gag with her. I just don't really care for that album. Yeah. I mean, you know, and my reasoning why is just pretty much all in the review. All of my gripes, all of my issues with the album, they're there in the review. If I had any other gripes or issues, I would say them in the review. But I'm sort of confused by this idea that I don't know if it's because people don't watch the reviews or because people think that, like, okay, he said a dozen different things that he didn't like about the album, and he listed them all out and stated it all pretty clearly, but there's got to be some other reason he doesn't like it. No, I mean, every reason that I don't like an album, I say it in the review. I say it right there. If I have any other reasons to dislike something, yeah, I mean, I just we'll just say it right there in the review, I guess, you know. And if there's something that I feel like is not music related that makes me dislike the record, typically, you know, and it results in some kind of bias, you know, typically I'll even say that in the review too. You know, before I've said in reviews like, hey, this isn't usually my thing, or I usually hate this kind of music, or I find this person pretty annoying, you know, so that you know that as we're going into the review. But yeah, generally all of my issues, I usually just kind of say them in the review. What exactly does an album need to earn a not good? Skins deserved this. Why did I spare it? Skins, I didn't give a not good because I was kind of already planning on reviewing it. A lot of the reason when I give something a not good is because I think it's awful. I haven't really dived that deeply into it as much as I do some other albums because it's just so clearly awful on its face that you don't really need to dive that deeply into it. And on top of it, if I didn't already make this clear, it's an album that I think if I wasn't doing a not good on it, I would have just probably avoided it anyway. You know what I mean? So that's usually kind of my thought process going into a not good. You know, I think probably the Godsmack album is a prime example of that. The Godsmack album is a record that I think in any other situation I would have just skipped, but I decided to sort of just like not good it for the lulz. Would I ever review old albums that aren't classics? Maybe potentially, but I don't know at this point. Post Melon, what are all your tattoos? No. I'm not talking about my tattoos. I don't do that. That's not my thing. They mean something to me, and I'm not like posting pictures of my tattoos for people to be like, no interest in that. Which ex-Beatles solo career do I enjoy the most? Probably John's. Where is the line between wearing influences on one's sleeve and regurgitating an artist's sound? How much does it detract from your score? I don't know if I could quantify it into a number. You know what I mean? I would say if your influences are so obvious that you haven't really done anything with them other than just copy them, it does take away from your score. But I can't say, oh yeah, well, I deduct 2 points. You know what I mean? There's not really a number I deduct from it. It's just something that could negatively impact my enjoyment of the album. And if it impacts it so negatively that I don't enjoy any of the tracks, then that's typically kind of what I go off of. Geez, come on. Favorite Kenny Beats song? That one he did with Zach Fox, or one of the ones he did with Rico Nasty. Deep Scars by Blue Day Chanel. Mixtape Mood is pretty great. Okay, I'll put that on my phone. Jeez. All these $5 ones are running out, and I'm just never going to see them. What is my favorite This Heat album? The one with the friggin'... that one that everybody knows. What is your opinion on Yeezus? Has my opinion on Yeezus changed any? Not really. Saw you at your live show in VA Beach. Had a great time. Would highly recommend it. Sorry, I'm just trying to rush through all these ones that are almost running out. What character am I maining in Smash? I have no idea yet. Which ones have disappointed me? I'm disappointed that they didn't change Kirby at all. Kirby just pretty much feels the same fucking way he did in Smash 4. Kind of same with DDD too. Favorite rapper of top 5 or top 5. I don't have a top 5 off the top of my head, but you know, Doom and Andre 3000 are probably in there, and Ghostface Killah. Love your rap reviews, by the way. I'll see you in Seattle. That should be awesome. You have a really cool way of reviewing production as well as story lyricism. Thank you. Anyone ever make a comment that ruined a song for you? Oh, yeah, not really. Somebody saying something sounded like Happy Crab music to me. I don't think it would ruin something. In fact, I think it would probably just add to the color factor of whatever I was listening to. 1971. It's not a very good year. Have you heard of Darren? He's kind of sick. Also, I know your thoughts on Wolfpack, but any other artists from Michigan you can recommend? Not really. Nina Simone Sings the Blues is pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing. Thoughts on Japanese pop band Fishmans? Yes, I've gotten quite a few questions about Fishmans. I even mentioned them in a recent Why You Know review. I think they're pretty great. You know, production's really cutting edge and trippy and mind-bending. Yeah, I mean, like you just said, blowing my mind. It's definitely up there. And this one, I don't want to miss this one. Ow, Scotch Dog. Yo, I'm currently keying mail in a facility, and this is the 3rd day in a row where I work 12 hours. Damn, dude. Fuck capitalism, LMAO. Also, did I hear how one of the guys from Clown Posse went to a latest furry convention with a fursuit? Did not hear about that, but that is an interesting factoid, Scotch Dog. I did not know that the furry community and the Juggalo community had any sort of cultural crossover, but you know, anything is possible, I guess. In light of your Greta Van Fleet review, what's my opinion on Gruesome? Every song sounds like a spiritual healing leprosy, yet the metal world seems to love them. Let me see which record are we? Yeah, I don't really think I've gotten into their stuff. I will put this in my phone and remind myself to check it out. But honestly, like, there's a lot of metal shit out there that just kind of sounds like old school shit, and people love it. To me, that was kind of like the new Tomb Mold album. Not to say that band sounded exactly like any other death metal band out there, but people were freaking the fuck out over that record, and it pretty much just sounded like a very meat and potatoes friggin', you know, death metal album to me, you know? Do I think Andre 3K will ever release his long-awaited debut solo album? I think he will. You know, he dropped those 2 SoundCloud tracks out of nowhere. Maybe he's teasing towards something. I think the potential is there. And what's my favorite Outkast album and or song? You know, I'm going to say Bombs Over Baghdad is definitely like probably in my top 3, if not my number 1. And I'm not going to spoil the album right now because I do still have my Outkast worst to best coming out in early next year. I will check the next stream if I listen to Ram Ranch by Grant McDonald. Maybe even mention it in the weekly track roundup. Well, the weekly track roundup is done for the year. But I can't say that might not get mentioned in the next one. Who knows? We'll see. But I have put it in my phone, and I actually will be checking it out. What's my opinion on Virtual Self? Virtual Self album, Rufus de Sol Solis album. I don't think I've heard either of those. Can you review more EDM, or do I not like it that much? P.S. Thanks for reviewing 2012 to 2017. That shit is amazing. It is amazing. I'll just have to... it was Virtual Self. Okay, yes, I know who you're talking about now. I did check out the Virtual Self. I didn't really think all that much of it. But you guys already know kind of my opinion on Porter Robinson. But obviously it's a different project, but still I didn't really get all that much from it. But still I've not heard the Rufus, so I guess I can give that a shot. I'm not against... obviously EDM is not the same as all electronic music, but I mean, as much as I don't want to come out here and say, yeah, EDM is trash, I fucking hate EDM. I don't want to say that because I don't truly think EDM is trash. But I mean, I guess fact of the matter is that a lot of it I don't really care all that much for. I just don't really have an excuse. I suck. I don't like everything. I don't understand everything. I know I do review a lot of things. I know I do try to branch out as much as one person possibly can. But I'm not perfect. I can't listen to everything. I can't hear everything. Most importantly, I can't understand everything. I'm not going to get everything per se. But I guess be patient with me and, continue to suggest stuff that you think I might like. I think that's really all you can do. What are your criticisms you have of my music so far? I mean, you've emailed me. I don't really have like any criticisms to throw out during stream or anything at the moment. Anthony@theneedledrop.com. Hit me with one of your latest tracks and we can kind of have a bit of a back and forth about it, and we'll kind of go from there. And did I see Andre 3K has a collab coming with James Blake? That's pretty cool. I'm interested in hearing that. Actually interested in hearing that. Hey, Tony Cannoli. Have I delved into K-pop beyond BTS and Luna? And if so, which groups have I enjoyed? I have a little bit. I got a bunch of suggestions when I went down to 88 Rising and they played me a bunch of stuff, some of which I liked, some of which I wasn't all that crazy about. But honestly, like it's a genre of music that I think I'm really only going to be kind of like in a very cursory way, sort of like into. I think they do have some, worthwhile songs and groups and everything, but like I haven't like really heard anything that's like really kind of made me want to like go balls friggin' deep and go crazy for it as much as like as crazy as some other people are out there. I respect the movement. I respect what it's doing. I like that it's around. I like that it's breaking up the monotony of a lot of Western pop music and representation and all that stuff. But I can't say it's like one of my favorite new sounds or anything like that. But still, I am like, trying to keep a little tabs on and just like keep track of like everything that it's doing and everywhere it's progressing, because I do think there is some worthwhile stuff going on in the movement. Favorite Doors album, favorite Doors track also is the Soft Parade, Really That Bad. I don't know about that, but I think the debut probably. Probably the debut. I think the debut is pretty fantastic. Have I listened to any Royal Blood? Yes, I have. I think they're one of the least interesting bass drum duos, honestly. Though they do write some fun riffs, like you just say. Also, did I listen to Dime Trap by T.I.? I didn't. I heard a lot of the tracks teasing toward it, but I didn't really care for it all that much. I just thought it was okay. Thoughts on Trivium? Not really a group that I care for all that much. Haven't really dove into their discography either because, the songs I hear I don't really like. Am I going to review Pink Floyd's The Wall Redux cover album? Paul Bearer covers Run Like Hell. I'm not really a cover albums guy. I haven't really done many cover albums reviews, but I have thought some of the tracks that have teased toward it are okay. So, I'm mildly curious in hearing it, I guess. Which will a college dropout classic review ever happen? Potentially. I know you're a fan of the internet. Yeah, I mean potentially. It's the chance is there. And also, I'll say "Love Her Madly." You know, don't you love her madly? Because I know the Doors track. Sort of have a bit of a brain fart on that. I ever heard of up and coming Chicago rapper Charlie? No, I have not. But I'll say that on my phone. And I don't know when the Adam Neely collab is happening. Maybe next year at some point. He sort of dropped the ball on it. Then I hit him back and I dropped the ball on it. And hopefully we can get something together next year at some point. New Failure album. I don't know. I don't know at this point. You know, I'll give it. I put it in my phone to check it out, but I have no idea at this point. Can I shout out my friend Jorge Mendoza and tell him he's thick? Yo, you're thick, boy. Sorry, I was asking about your thoughts on the 2008 album Only by the Night by Kings of Leon. Also thoughts on Boomtown Rats. I've not gotten into Boomtown Rats at all, and not a Kings of Leon guy, honestly. Not a Kings of Leon guy. So I can't even say. And I apologize for the mix up there, for not understanding what you were getting at there. I'm a dum-dum. What would I rate the albums Overly Dedicated and College Dropout? Overly Dedicated, I didn't really care all that much for. College Dropout, probably a 9 or a 10. Also, what do I think of NZ Dryden street artists such as Robinson and Broods? I can't say. I'm not really aware of their stuff at all. You've introduced me to Idols, Swain, Remo Drive, who are now amongst my all-time faves. What other bands in that vein should I check out, new or old? Also, White Stripes, Worst to Best. White Stripes, Worst to Best would be pretty fun. But other bands in that vein, I guess Savages. You know, check out Savages. Yeah, definitely check out Savages or Sleaford Mods. You've said that rock needs to be innovative to get back into the mainstream. What would that look like? What subgenre of rock has the best chance? I think that there's... I'm trying to think. I know it's not very popular, but I would say like the new Jack White album is kind of off to a good start. Because it's like incorporating elements of electronic music and hip hop. Of course, it's doing it in like a really weird, abrasive, somewhat experimental way. But to embrace some of those elements in a way that actually kind of appeals to the current musical zeitgeist, but still feels like a rock album or feels like a rock record. Honestly, like if I truly had the answer to the situation, I would just make that album and I'd be a millionaire. Earth, Wind, and Fire versus Kool and the Gang. I'm going to go Earth, Wind, and Fire. When are you going to stop sleeping on Jessie Reyes? Her last 2 EPs have been great and she kills almost every feature. I don't think I've heard either of her EPs, so I'll just put that in my phone. And maybe if I hear it, I'll stop sleeping on it, or maybe it might put me to sleep. We'll see. My opinion on Blonde by Frank Ocean really changed when I was going through a rough time. Has my opinion changed at all on the album since? I mean, not really. I still think it's a great record. I think it's really good. I don't love it anymore. I don't love it any less. So I think it's a really good record. I will say my opinion of Endless has changed since I heard the remaster. I love it a lot more. To me, Endless at first sort of felt like a bit of a side dish or something, but now after hearing the vinyl remaster and kind of hearing it in all of its, bright, shimmery glory, I definitely appreciate it a lot more. Hi, Melon. Watched your vids around mid-2018. Thanks for introducing me to such artists as Danny Brown, Death Grips. Speaking of Death Grips, worst to best. I think as of right now, you could probably take all of my Death Grips scores and just kind of rank them and kind of get a good worst to best that way. But shout out to Bjorn Bowles. Yes, shout out to Bjorn. Shout out to Bjorn. Have I listened to the band Sticky Fingers? I have, but I can't say I'm like super crazy about them or anything like that. Hello, I released an EP called Black Sailor Moon about gender, sexuality, and witchcraft. Look up Backwash on all streaming platforms. I was also wondering, Melon, how would you define hardcore rap as a genre? How would I define it? I'm going to put this on my phone. I would define it as probably like loud, aggressive beats and, kind of like hardcore lyrical content, lyrical content that the kids shouldn't be around, which is most rap these days. But back during the 90s when we first started defining hardcore hip hop, that was kind of a thing, because a lot of the rap that you heard in the 80s was like, you know, it was like party rap. It was like pop music. It was, you know, obviously there was like conscious tracks and stuff like that. You know, you had Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. But what hardcore hip hop artists back in the day, like, you know, Nas and Mobb Deep, were kind of like hitting upon with their lyrical content was like way different, and much grittier. So, you know, I would kind of define it by its aggression and its grit and its language. Yeah, Violent J's daughter is actually a furry, and he thought it'd be cool if he went to a convention with her, and it was really cool and sweet of him to be, yeah, that's actually kind of supportive and really nice. So, yeah, it's actually really cool. So shout out to Violent J for being a cool, supportive dad. And I say that with no sarcasm whatsoever. Everybody thinks I'm being sarcastic when I'm actually being nice. Have I listened to the Bones debut album? Yes, I have. I think it just kind of sounds like every other Bones record. I don't really get anything out of it. Also, what would I rate Portrait of an American Family? That's a good question. Fuck, man. I haven't listened to that record, I think, since like early college, late high school. I mean, it's a pretty fun record. I don't really care for it as much as I do like Antichrist Superstar or anything, but it's a pretty edgy fucking album. You know, the production's kind of shitty, but from what I remember of it, I remember it being kind of lo-fi and brittle. What do I think about the Far Side? I was just talking about them earlier in the stream. I think they're a pretty trippy and great and unique group. Kanye West or Kendrick Lamar, two of the modern GOATs. I think Kendrick, if he has a couple more classics in him, could definitely surpass Kanye. But as of right now, I would go more Kanye. Favorite metal subgenres and heavy metal, every other genre, am I right? Favorite metal subgenres, probably black, stoner, doom, thrash, death. Those are probably my favorites. You got me into Fleet Foxes, which threw me into a folk binge. Would I consider doing a modern folk starter pack? Could be good. I would consider it. Hey, Anthony, hope you're well. What's my ultimate nu metal guilty pleasure? Ultimate nu metal guilty pleasure. It's a good nu metal guilty pleasure. Probably like $3 Bill, y'all, or something like that. You know, there's still some hardcore fucking tracks on that record. Hey, Melon, would I ever make a Led Zeppelin worst to best type video at some point? I could. You know, their discography is pretty easy to manage, so I could see myself doing one for them. Also, what do I think would rate favorite worst? Would I rate favorite worst Nightmare by the Arctic Monkeys? I don't know what I would rate it, honestly. Eric, I don't know. Do I think you rated Mac Miller's Faces too low? I mean, I don't really feel all that different about it at this point. And I love the Earl features in production. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go back to it, but I haven't since I reviewed it. You know, not recently anyway. Opinion on Fever the Ghost. I haven't really gotten into Fever the Ghost to the point where I could really comment, honestly. I'm going to need you to explain your hate for Dismemberment Plan. Emergency I is the GOAT. I don't hate Dismemberment Plan. I just think that's kind of an overrated album. It's a little inconsistent. What's your favorite Tool album? Anonymia? What are your thoughts on the shoegaze band Nothing? I don't really care for them all that much. Honestly, their music just feels a little hollow to me. How do I feel about Kevin Parker and Ruben Nielsen as producers and musical creatives? Can't really speak on Ruben, but I think Kevin Parker definitely has a sound and style of his own, which is why Tame Impala is in the position that they are. And I do love how he's evolved the band in such kind of the project in such a fast and creative way. And looking forward to what he's doing next under the Tame Impala name, frankly. Would I consider reviewing Hot Dad's new collection of songs? Now that's what I call Hot Dad's music. It's good as fuck, and it would help out our boy a lot. You know, I'll probably shout it out in some way, shape, or form, but I'm not planning a formal review at this point. Yo, Anthony, any chance of a Blue Album Classic review? Maybe. A Weezer worst to best would be pretty fun, though. I'll think about a worst to best. And guys, I think I'm going to cut it off at that point. I'm going to leave it at that. Now, hey, before I go, you guys have been pretty well behaved. You guys have been pretty well behaved. Do you guys really, really, really want me to talk about the 1974, whatever thing. You guys really want me to talk about that? You really want me to talk about that before I go bye-bye? You guys really want me to talk about the 1975? Is that really what you want? Also, rest in peace to Joe Rogan. Rest in peace to Joe Rogan. Rest in peace. 971L, finally. Well, I do have almost 1,700 people here, and you guys have been a little sleep deprived. It took me a remember A-Track's Heads Will Roll remix that came out, wasn't the original. Was tired. Oh, dude, it's okay. I make fucking mistakes all the time too during these live streams. I'm a dum-dum, and I'm burnt out when I do these things sometimes because they go on for so long. You can only talk off the top of your head for so long before it's just like, I need a nap. But yes, people are like, yeah, we want to hear the dirt. Okay, I'll tell you guys. Here it is. Here's the skinny on 1971L. The 1971L situation. The 1971L situation. Ooh. Hold on one second. Okay. I'm looking at this Grant McDonald Ram Ranch right here. And I'm seeing the meme, guys. Okay, I see the meme. It looks pretty funny. I will give that a listen. Okay, I will give Ram Ranch a listen. Don't worry about it. So yeah, 1791L. Whoa. They made a video about me. Whoa. Okay, here's the truth. You want to hear the truth? I want to see a response in the chat. Do you want to hear the truth? Do you want to hear the truth? The truth? You want to hear the truth? You want to hear the truth? I'm not seeing anybody say yes. I'm not seeing any yeses. So you guys must not want to hear the truth. I just see Ram Ranch. I think you guys just want to see me talk about Ram Ranch. Oh, now I see the yeses. Wow, I'm literally that behind. There's a huge delay. Here. Okay, so you guys want to hear the truth. You want to hear the truth. The truth about 1974 ABCDEFG. The new video. The truth about the new video, the truth about my thoughts on the new video is the following. The truth thing is that I have not seen that fucking video. I have not watched it. I don't think I have any plans on watching it. I have not watched the video. I honestly have not fucking watched it. I've had a lot of people, being like, oh man, I watched it and this, that, and the other thing and blah, 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 blah. But I haven't seen the video for myself. I have no plans on watching the video. And look, here's the thing. I know, and I haven't even watched the video again. I've not watched the video. But I already know some of the crap that's already in the video. Here, you tell me if I'm right. You tell me if I'm right. Some of the stuff that's in the video is Anthony Fantano's a dumb celebrity and he doesn't know what he's talking about and he shouldn't be talking about politics and blah, 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 blah. And other celebrities talk about politics and this, that, and the other thing. So there's probably that in it. He also talks about probably me being mean to him online and being rude to him or them or whatever online. So I'm not nice or I'm pretentious or whatever, or I'm a jerk, or I'm like, high off my own farts or whatever. So he probably says that too. And, there's probably a few things that I've tweeted at him that maybe he tries to like disagree with or whatever. Listen, here's the thing. Here's the truth of the situation, sort of my motivations. And look, I get that when I was sort of responding to 1791L, I was being a total dick. I mean, if you guys are aware of my internet history, and sort of like interacting with people online, I'm not usually like that big of a jerk. Like it's a rare occasion or not. I can't even count off the top of my head, like the amount of times, because it's been so rare, that I've ever said to another fellow YouTube creator, your videos are dog shit, Again, I don't think I've ever said that to another person like publicly, you know, especially on like social media. You know what I mean? I don't think it's something I've ever really done all that often, because it's just not really something I do. It's not really typically in my character. However, the reason I actually did that in that instance is because, as I've said before, one, I know that the people who are behind that channel, they watch me, they're all into my memes, they're fans of what I do, but they want to act like they're not fans, and they want to act like really cool, and they want to just like try to like snipe clout points off of me instead of just like, if they want to have like an honest political conversation about something, you know, they're certainly welcome to. But instead, you know, they just like kind of want to snipe and make snarky comments at my, you know, opinions about politics online, which, like, you know, I'm a music reviewer. You can take my opinions on politics seriously or not. You don't really need to give a fuck. I'm throwing my ideas out there for you to take them or not. You know, honestly, you can believe what I believe or you can not believe what I believe. And I mean, I would like for you to believe what I believe. I would love for this country to move in a progressive direction and, you know, do millennials right by the economy, provide right social safety nets, stop all these awful foreign interventions, end this fucking Yemen shit, end the drug war, you know, end this unfair, disgusting judicial system, this school to prison pipeline, you know, all this bullshit, all this police brutality, just get rid of all this shit. I would love for our country to move in that direction. But, you know, honestly, if I haven't effectively made that case to you, then I guess that's on me and you're free to think whatever the fuck you want to think. You know, but the reason that I was rude to 1791L is because they made a video about me already. And the video about me that they made already was just based off of like this cheeky offhanded tweet that I wrote about fucking Jordan Peterson, which, what was so funny about that video is that, like, in the title, they compared me to Noam Chomsky, which I don't think they really got was like almost like a compliment in my opinion. Like, I actually like Noam Chomsky quite a bit. So if you're comparing me to Noam Chomsky, a man who politically and philosophically dwarfs every person involved in that shitty YouTube channel. If you think that my opinions or whatever are in the league of his in any way, shape, or form, I mean, that's a fucking compliment. You know, but the thing is, like, still at the end of the day, their whole reason for making the video was just based off of, again, a stupid offhanded tweet that I made. So if you're so desperate to talk about me that you will make a video just based off of some dumb tweet that I wrote without even really thinking about it. You know, I'm sure at some point in their video, they're like, oh, well, Anthony, when he wrote this tweet, it was actually like, oh, there's a fallacy. There's a fallacy here. I bet that's in the video somewhere. Like I'm thinking about every fucking argumentative fallacy I could possibly, you know, have thrown at me when I'm writing some fucking stupid tweet. But anyway, the reason I was so rude to 1791L is because I knew that if I was mean and rude to them, that they'd probably just make another video about me. And I was right, you know. I figured the more I just called them stupid and said their videos are dog shit, and I believe in a previous live stream I said they had fucking ugly faces and so on and so forth. I knew the meaner I was to them, the more likely they would just make a video about me, and they did. So they wasted their time making a video that I'm not going to watch, that I'm not going to respond to. So, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of on them. And, you know, who knows? Maybe they'll make another video about me or whatever. Yeah, that's basically pretty much all I think I can say about the situation, because there's not really a situation, because I'm not planning on getting embroiled in it. I just thought I could tease them to the point where they would make another video, and they did. So, looking at sort of the comments here, it looks like people just really kind of want me to review Ram Ranch. And I agree. We should just review Ram Ranch. So let me get Ram Ranch up. We'll listen to a little Ram Ranch and end out the night on a positive note. And that's it. So Ram Ranch from Grant McDonald. Let's do it. You're going to hear it in the background a little bit. Oh, shit. Those heavy metal guitars.
throbbing cocks wanting to be sucked. 18 naked cowboys wanted to be fucked.
How is this 6 fucking minutes? How is this 6 minutes long? What is going on here? What? I cannot. What? Oh. Okay. I'm just 20 seconds in and I'm just absolutely offended and disgusted. 18 naked cowboys waiting to be sucked. Oh God. Let's keep going, I guess.
Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch on their knees wanting to suck cowboy cocks. Ram Ranch really rocks.
What is this instrumental coming from? Did he just like buy this off of some like royalty free like metal platform or something? And now he's just like screaming over it with like a gamer microphone. Is that what's going on here? Like where the fuck is this instrumental from?
Hot, hard, buff cowboys, their cocks throbbing hard. 18 more wild cowboys out in the yard. Big bulging cocks ever so hard. Orgy in the showers at Ram Ranch. Big hard throbbing cocks. Ram cowboy butt like a breed of ram wanting to rut.
Does this progress? Does this progress in any way? Like, is there a gore grind breakdown, or does it eventually turn into a trap song or something, or is it just like another 5 minutes of this? Ram Ranch really rocks. I have checked Kanye's Twitter. I have checked the Kanye Twitter. Going to be talking about it tomorrow on the Fantano channel.
Big hard throbbing cocks.
Why are the vocals mixed so terribly? Jesus Christ. I feel like I can't turn it up and rock out to it because the vocals just fucking fuck me up.
Real deep. Cowboys even getting fucked in their sleep. Ram Ranch, it rocks. Cowboys love big hard throbbing cocks. 18 naked cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch. Big hard throbbing cocks wanting to be sucked.
Okay, is this pretty much it? Are these all have I heard all the lyrics of the song pretty much? Like, does this go anywhere else? I'm skipping forward.
Big hard throbbing cocks getting sucked real deep.
Did he just repeat the instrumental? Did he just repeat I think he just repeated the instrumental.
Cowboys even getting fucked in their sleep. Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch on their knees wanting to suck cowboy cocks. Ram Ranch really rocks.
This is finish the song. Finish it for what? Like, he's clearly just literally repeated the instrumental and he's just saying the same fucking shit.
I'm wanting to run. 18 naked cowboys wanted to be fucked. Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch on their knees wanting to suck cowboy cocks. Ram Ranch really rocks.
What the is there more of this? Mix Ram Ranch. I'm clicking on Mix Ram Ranch.
He rocks.
Is this the only song from Grant McDonald? Am I to understand that this is the only song in the Grant McDonald discography? Damn. What is my favorite artist that I saw live? You know, I did see David Byrne live recently, and it was amazing. The stage setup was fantastic, and the wireless instrumentation, the marching band formations, the gray color palette. It was actually really cool and invigorating, and really interesting stage design. What was up with all that Ricky Shore beef? LOL. Is he just some crazy dude? You seem to be chill throughout. Yeah, I mean, he's just some guy who I really just don't. I didn't comment because I sort of worry about his mental health, and I didn't want to like inflame whatever I had going on with him. And I don't want to speak on it any further because I still do kind of worry about his his mental health. I don't know if he's okay. And I want to create a situation around that, you know. So, you know, it's unfortunate that some people that you know do kind of, you know, fall into that pit. But you know, I hope he's doing okay. Listen to Spider in My Room. God, what is Spider in My Room? I'm trying to fuck it. Spider in My Room. I'm trying to fuck it. Why? Why? Okay, all right. We're done with that. We're done. Anthony is Rate Your Music a good platform to gain exposure for unique artists? I mean, I like the platform. I think it's good. And certainly artists do blow up on Rate Your Music, but I don't know if there's any sort of strategy artists could use to blow their music up on Rate Your Music. You know what I mean? I guess you could get all of your friends to fake rate your album into the top 100 of the year. It'll certainly probably get people trying it out, you know, but if people try it out and they don't like it, they'll probably vote it down and then it'll go down. And I feel bad for potentially inspiring someone to spam Rate Your Music, but I don't know. I can't really think of any other way that you would promote your music on Rate Your Music. You know, to me, Rate Your Music is just kind of a bit of a democratic music taste, organic type of platform. The 1791 Culture Chest diss track. No, there won't be a diss track. No. Please listen to Young Walnut Bathroom Break. Oh God, I've really opened up the floodgates with meme songs. Young Walnut Bathroom Break. What have I gotten myself into? Oh, sorry about that. What do I think makes a remix a good one? I don't know. Like just a good groove and a beat. You know, I do love a dancey remix or a remix that sort of makes me think about the song or the composition in a different way. You know, sort of like, you know, I think a lot of what applies to a good remix also kind of applies to a good cover, truly and honestly. Am I ever going to tour Toronto? I think there will be a point in the future where I do, for sure. And do I think Monastic Living by Parquet Court? I've reviewed it, I think. Did I review that? Yeah, I didn't give it a formal review, but I did put it in my top 15 EPs of the year, of that year. And I do talk about it a little bit there. And generally, I do like it. So, yeah, I think it's a solid EP, though I haven't heard it in a while. Listen to Ram Ranch 7, Hunter x Hunter anime OST, quick review, go. I don't have a review off the top of my head. What are your thoughts on MGMT's influence on the modern psychedelic sound? Also, who I prefer? I prefer the new MGMT album to the new Tame Impala album. I'll say that much. I don't know about MGMT's influence on it, but I do love their new record a lot. It's going to be in my year-end list. Grant McDonald has 50-plus albums, and all of them are 70 minutes long. Dead ass. I'm enthralled with this man. Wow. That's amazing. And it's amazing that one song has popped out. Ram Ranch. All right, let me hear this Young Walnut guy, and then I will bring this insane live stream to a close. Here we go. Young Walnut Bathroom Break. God, this better not be terrible. Why is there peeing? Bathroom break. Okay, I get it. There's just the sound of peeing. Yeah, okay. That's toilet flushing. That's good. That's good. Madlib's massive discog worth listening to. No, I mean, you should probably dive into some of his Beat Conducta records. They're pretty good. Also, his Loop Conducta stuff is pretty cool too. So, And the group that he was in before, he was doing all the Mad Lib and Mad Villainy shit, was pretty dope as well. So definitely go through and listen to fucking Quasimodo. Listen to Quasimodo. You know, The Unseen, all that shit. Quasimodo. All right, guys, this has been a fantastic live stream. You have made it really fun. You have made it a fun live stream. Thank you very much for being so good and so fun. And yes, Loot Pack. Yes, I'm talking about Loot Pack. Thank you very much for reminding me. I'm still burnt out. I've been streaming for 2 hours and a half. No. Don't kill Joe Rogan. He's a fine gentleman, I'm sure. You know, honestly, tell Joe Rogan to get me on that fucking podcast is what we need to do in 2019. Why is Anthony Fantano not on the Joe Rogan podcast? I should be on that shit. I will sleep well. Kanye's still going. I will be talking about the Kanye tomorrow. Do not worry about it. The Kanye will be discussed by yours truly tomorrow. And R.I.P. Joe Rogan. He's a beautiful man. I bought 3 copies of the KSG because I do plan to do a giveaway with 2 of them. Everyone message Joe. Get me on that fucking podcast. And I will see you guys in the next one. Stokely, I reviewed it already. Ram Ranch 7. And love you guys. And I'll catch you in the next live stream forever.